Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Preparation Ape, your number one place for Major Tom being a Nintendo apologist. I'm DKP.
I'm the apologist.
And, of course, we're coming at you live here for twitch.tv/chainsaw every single Thursday night.
Wednesday for... Sorry, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Thursday night, Central Standard Time, here at twitch.tv/chainsaw. What do we got on the Resodox tonight, Major T?
Well, for starters, streaming is weird for March. So from now until the end of March, every Prep Ape will be on Wednesday night instead of Thursday night. So apologies if that messes up your life schedule some. You can catch it in the archive or catch it on YouTube. It'll be up by tomorrow.
First up, no apologies.
Oh, yeah. But I'm the apologist.
That's why you should stop.
It's Nintendo's fault.
Don't put this on Nintendo. This is you.
No, it's totally me.
This is you.
I got the option. They let me pick which month I wanted to be closing, and I said March.
Is it specifically because of the Switch?
It is specifically because March is the end of the fiscal year, and it is the most amount of work that we do at work. It's like where everything ramps up, where a lot of like new things are implemented and end of year performance reviews and all this stuff happens in March.
and you work
doing
at
that stuff,
Electronic Arts, right?
Yeah.
Can we get a disclaimer, please?
Exclamation point EA.
All right,
is the new disclaimer.
So yeah, a bunch of new games and support. It's easier to close. Is that right?
It's easier to close. It's not as busy. There aren't as many meetings. Working closing shifts are like a lot more smooth. So having a smooth month during the hardest month is what I wanted to go for. Hey, appreciate it, Paints.
A lot of potential innuendos there. But that being said, what do we have on the Resodox?
Before we get to that,
don't make me ask again.
Before we get to that, we'll get to what's on the Resodox. What have you been playing? You been playing anything lately?
You been fucking lately? Let's see. I've been playing. What the fuck have I been playing?
You've been doing some Lego and model building.
Oh, dude, I'm
so jealous.
I got super into Legos, which I need to like break this fucking habit.
Like, I'm so jealous. It's so much fun.
This is like harder to kick than a fucking like heroin habit.
Well, luckily,
it's more expensive too.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So it's
really got to kick that shit. But yeah. So then bought a.
You got the Eiffel Tower. You got Big Ben.
Started out with Big Ben.
Yeah.
See, on my trip to New York, we ended up staying at a remote location for 2 days, shitting in a bucket inside of a little shack.
Yeah.
Which was not at all what was expected.
For sure.
And I was like, all right, well, there's nothing to do. So we drove into town, we were at Barnes & Nobles, and they had, like, Lego architecture.
Yeah.
They had Big Ben for, like, $20. And I was like, all right, that sounds pretty fucking rad. I'll do that. I don't need electricity to build Big Ben.
For sure.
I mean? And that's where it fucking started, man. I've been chasing that dragon ever since. Yeah. As a matter of fact, from Big Ben, which is, like, yay
$20.
tall.
Yeah, little... Actually, I'll pull it out. Hold on before you pop it around. Big Ben fits nicely in my hand. Nice little $20 Lego. This is all within
fucking
a week.
up and buying the Millennium Falcon one.
Went and bought the Millennium Falcon.
It's it really is a rough habit to have.
But it is so much fun, dude.
I
love building Lego. What's up, Woodles? Legos are an expensive habit. The Lego architect sets are amazing. That price, yeah,
dude, and they're on Prime now too, which makes it even worse.
Oh no! Don't tell me that,
dude. That's where I got the fucking Millennium Falcon from. I was buying detergent on Prime now, and I was like, "Do they have any Legos?" And I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
And they have the Eiffel Tower too. Fuck.
Sorry. Tax-related things.
But yeah, apart from that, I've been playing the Resident Evil 7 DLC, which is fucking some of the most fun and creative DLC I've ever played for any game. It is really neat.
Okay, I'm done messaging.
And I think, I think that's about it. No apologizing.
So, I've seen 2 of the pieces of DLC. I saw the...
Well, it's 4 now.
Yeah, I saw the one where you're in the bed and you have the handcuff on and you have to like take it off while Marguerite is out of the room and like do stuff, but then you have to put everything back the way you had it.
Yeah.
So you like take pictures off the wall and move things all around, but then she'll be like, "What was that noise?" Like if you make noise, and she comes back and it puts a timer, like a countdown timer, like 45 seconds or something. And then you have to put everything back and then go back and like do the latch, redo the handcuff.
Yeah.
Before she gets there,
It's
or
a
she'll
bunch
notice it and kill you.
Yeah, what they do is, we won't spend too much time on this, but they take what is just the regular game and just add like little bitty twists to it that make it into newer mini games. Like there's even one that's similar to like a tower defense.
Cool.
Where it's like you go through waves of enemies and you can like set little turrets. There's like little scrap machines and you got to make it towards them to get resources.
Yeah.
Just little bitty things that they
You
add
have to like
the
survive
main...
through the night, right?
Yeah, 5 times. So it's like 5 seconds. Yeah, but it's little things like that, and that basically just it's really a creative way to use their currently existing engine
For sure.
to just do new shit. It's like not really story expansive. That's fucking awesome.
Hit a couple of comments and then I'll catch up on what I've been playing. Terminator says, "Fuck you! You have the Falcon. I want that damn kit."
Well, come and get it, bitch.
He said, "Come." Oh wait, you have the microphone. You have the lapel mic. He can hear you.
Yeah, exactly.
Woodle says that's why you never even load the Prime Now app. Far too much temptation.
Dude, I know it's fucking horrible.
Dude, you just ruined my life by telling me that, because I love Legos. I probably have like 40 different Lego sets that I bought over the last few years. Luckily, I boxed them all up and I put them away in the garage, so when my son gets old enough, I can give them to him. So that's cool. So my addiction for now is like subsided.
Yeah, it was fucked up. Like I made that big bin in New York, and then I disassembled it, and I had just as much fun putting it together a second time last night.
Make sure you watch the Lego movie now that you've been Lego crazy, because it'll give that movie just an extra layer of like love that you probably didn't have beforehand.
Fair enough.
There's a certain appreciation that Lego fans have of that movie that I think you would get a kick out of. I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yep.
I'm about 15% through in about 8 hours. So with that math, we're looking at about 50 hours, which lines up with what I'm hearing online. It's great. I was telling you earlier that it's got a couple of things that I normally don't like in video games, but I'm totally in with this game. I don't like how in Witcher and Fallout and a lot of RPGs, the way that conversations work, where you like the camera is directly behind you and there's a guy in the corner and they talk.
That's curious, though.
And then it pauses and then you talk.
That is exactly how Mass Effect functions.
Yeah, I don't like the way it works in Mass Effect either.
But
that game
pros
works.
outweigh
Mass
the
Effect
cons.
works.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But like you talk and then it's a pause and then somebody else talks. Then it's a pause and then somebody else, and it just feels really unnatural. And that game doesn't seem like a type of game that would do that, because the gameplay feels similar to something like Tomb Raider or Far Cry. But the way that those conversations work, and you mean
Uncharted or Far Cry?
Far Cry.
Really?
Yeah. I know, it's third person versus first person.
But the collectibles and...
Yeah, the way collectibles work and the map works, and you have to, there's an encampment over here that you need to take out. All that kind of stuff feels very Far Cry-esque. But it's beautiful. Easily, if not the most beautiful game I've played, in the top 5, top 3 for sure.
Of all time?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm playing on a PS4. I don't have a 4K TV. I don't have a PS4 Pro. I don't have any of those nice little things. But
that's the weird thing about it. I can believe that the environments look really good.
Yeah.
But it has an uncanny valley effect.
For sure.
It's the character models are just
equally as important. Great faces.
Equally as important, but they don't quite look like they fit in.
And I think that has a lot to do with the way that the conversation stuff works, at least from my perspective. There's an unnaturalness that I can sense when they're having conversations with each other. But the facial animations are on point. They're their eyebrows and stuff will move, and the way that they move
Yeah.
They do all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I wish I was playing it right now.
Well, tough shit.
Yeah.
See, that's not an apology. That's the best way to...
No, I like that.
That's the closest to an apology that you'll get here.
Yeah.
What's going on, old Chet Bicep?
What up, baby?
So,
what's on the Redux?
Okay, so don't make me ask you a third time. Don't make me taunt you a second time.
We're going to be talking about quite a robust list tonight. We may not talk a lot on each of these items, but there's quite a few of them. So, Shadow of War, the new Middle-earth game, was announced, a sequel to Shadow of Mordor. Batman Arkham Insurgency has been rumored. I have a list here that's 15 ways that prove that it exists or something like that. I'll go through it. I haven't read it yet, but I thought it was an interesting title. Shenmue 1 and 2, more rumors about an HD version of that. I thought that'd be fun to talk about with you. The PSVR sales figures are out. The Xbox has revealed their Game Pass, which is something similar to like a PlayStation Now.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit better than PlayStation Now personally because it includes current gen games in it, primarily current gen games. Nintendo has announced that there won't be virtual console stuff at launch. They announced a bunch of Nintendo indies. Nindies is what they are calling them. Peter Moore is leaving EA. He's an industry icon. I do work at EA, so take all that with a grain of salt.
What, the article you're going to read about it?
Do what?
The article you're going to read about it?
No, I didn't write the article, but I'm definitely going to read an article.
I know, so. But take this article with a grain of salt.
Well, take my opinions on it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I'm just giving you some
I do
shots.
have a couple of Peter Moore stories that I want to tell.
I have a couple as well from my work.
Oh, good. Yeah. Appreciate it, Adify. The Video Game History Foundation recently exists. It now exists. It's founded by a bunch of collectors. And they're doing a lot of really cool stuff. Do what?
Why wasn't I consulted?
Because your collection is peanuts compared to these people. They their goal is to not only have every game, but have like rare memorabilia, and
Tom,
specifically,
I have cut people for way less than that. Alright?
It's peanuts in comparison. But specifically, one of the things that they do that's really cool is that they find builds of games that were never released, and they're like showing those off.
Kind of like the what is it? Sony Nintendo or the Nintendo? Yeah, that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you've ever been to Unseen 64, where they like show footage, they're like, "Hey, here's what this game should have looked like." Like when they showed off something like that Mega Bloks Halo game. It was like Lego Halo. They get builds of that and they show that kind of stuff off. We're going to do a little bit of an editorial, definitely an editorial. Completely, there's a little bit of objectivity to it, but it's primarily going to be subjective. Maybe it'll go the other way. Maybe it's primarily objective and we'll talk about it subjectively. But PlayStation 4 is killing it in the exclusive market right now. 2017 definitely is a standout. So we're going to talk about that for a little bit. And then we're going to talk about game reviews. We obviously don't review games here at Chainsaw 8. It's something that we eventually want to get into.
But we do. It's just every review you see is a review in progress.
Yeah.
We're just streaming it.
Yeah. It's more of a preview or
I guess you could say that.
Discussion. So yeah, pretty robust show tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited, man.
Let's do it,
been
baby.
the first time we've streamed in like what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, first time in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, let's fucking hop to it.
Let's do it.
Why don't? Oh, we forgot to remove this shitty trailer.
Yep.
Well, okay, we'll just fucking play through it.
We'll just play through it.
All right, I'm also gonna make a solemn promise to everyone here. This fucking beeping will be addressed by next Prep Ape.
Okay.
Because I'm about to lose my fucking mind.
You're looking for a game review? You're soaking it. What's up, Peb?
So yeah, I like Shadows and Mordor. It was fun. And then I saw this trailer and was like, ooh. And then just like clicked through it. And I was like, yeah, fuck
no
this.
gameplay.
Yeah, this game in particular, like, it's not part of the main, like, Tolkien universe.
I mean,
like,
it
he
is.
didn't write it. I mean, like,
Yeah.
so how canonical you want to consider it? I don't know. So I'm not really super interested in the story. And if you're not showing gameplay, it's like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I think the story's interesting.
it's not bad, but
I like that. I didn't realize this until I started playing it recently, but that it takes place in the film universe. Like they use like assets from the movies. Like you
Yeah.
just saw Sauron. That's what Sauron looked like in the movies.
like
That's what the ring looked like in the movies. So
Adify was saying, like, I'm buying it. Well, like, here's the thing. Like, I'm sure it'll be great because the first one was great.
yeah,
But the first one wasn't great because of the story. At least not to me. Like,
for sure. No, when I played it, like so. I played it when it first came out, but I only got through the opening like tutorial thing.
Yeah.
And then when they set you out into the open world, I stopped playing it, and I was like, I'll come back to this, and I just never came back to it. But I played it last weekend for a stream, and I played for about 3 or 4 hours, and it was a blast. I had so much fun.
I'm still
Pebby and
shocked.
Paints were in there, like giving me tips.
I'm still absolutely
lot of
shocked
fun.
that Nemesis system hasn't taken off.
Right? It's
Like,
one of
when it
those
came
things-
out, I was like, this is going to be the new thing.
There were two game features that happened in 2013 and 2014, respectively. This one, 2014, the Nemesis system, that I was like, oh man, we're going to see this in every game. And the other thing was from Grand Theft Auto, how you can switch characters
Oh,
on the
yeah,
fly. I was like, oh man, this is something that's so cool. We're going to see it in every game. Nope.
Maybe it's just really hard to implement. It's not worth it.
Maybe
like
so.
for most developers. I don't know.
For sure.
But yeah.
Pebiv says the whole trailer was story. I'm excited to see what they've done with the Nemesis system. We didn't learn anything about the game mechanics in the trailer. Yes. But August 22nd, man.
Yeah, that is pretty
That's 6
soon.
months away. Hurry soon.
Yep.
Series is canon and lovely. I can't wait.
So yeah. I don't know, man. Fucking
I mean, we talked over the trailer. I said everything I wanted to say about it.
pretty much. I'm looking forward to the gameplay reveal.
Yeah.
Because this one will be, I'm sure, current gen for one. So it'll look way better.
Yeah.
And because the last one was PS3, was it not?
It was on current gen.
Oh, was it?
I think it was a
really early
simultaneous
life cycle?
release. It did both.
Oh, okay.
Back, at the beginning of a generation when they do that kind of thing.
Right. Speaking of, what I'm really happy about?
What's that?
That we're no longer going, this one is just current gen only.
Yeah.
I'm glad that that period has passed.
Yep. We're done with it. Except
that
now that the
sucks.
Switch is out, we're going to be like, why can't they have current gen games?
Well, but no, that's not going to make a difference because the thing was about PS4 and Xbox, right? And also PC because they all have to be kind of at a level playing field to some degree, so it can work cross-platform. Those were new cutting edge, hardware, so you could really expect graphical leaps. We're not expecting that from the Switch,
For sure.
so it's not really going to be that big a deal.
But it's more of the opposite direction, where we are expecting them to be able to get something like this, which I don't think they will.
Oh, Switch?
Yeah.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. All right. So I think we're gonna move on.
Only thing making me want to Switch right now is Blaster Master
Dude,
Zero.
that is one of the most absurd. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see Blaster Master.
And it comes out next
But
week.
I
Next week.
if you'd have told me they were resurrecting Blaster Master of all games,
Yeah.
I would never fucking believed you.
Got some semi-good news for you, Terminator. If you have a 3DS, you can play it there as well. It's exclusive to Switch and 3DS.
Yeah. All right, we good?
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know. This isn't so much rumor, but
I just want to read this interesting article from whatculture.com. Batman Arkham Insurgency 15 leaked details you're not supposed to know. That's a clickbait title if I've ever
let's
heard
see.
one.
You're contributing to clickbait right now. But we're saving all you fellas.
No, we're not saving
them.
them. We're subjecting them to it.
No, we're summarizing them right now.
So at this stage in the rollout, quote, I don't know who wrote this, by the way.
It doesn't matter.
It totally doesn't say who wrote this. So just Google What Culture and Batman Arkham Insurgency.
Oh, don't do that. Just get it here.
Find it. I just got a site. I got to make sure I'm giving credit where credit's due. This is not my content.
But
We're just reacting
Tommy,
to it.
this is shit no one's supposed to know anyways.
Oh, gotcha. Of course.
They told us right there.
Actually, we're just going to skip ahead because this is all just prereq stuff to what they're talking about. Dude, it's one of those two that's you have to go through 15 pages. You know what I'm saying? Where you got to click through the pages so they can have 16 clicks out of me.
All right, well, let's just hop to it.
It's a
got
prequel, and it takes place 3 years after Origins.
Okay. That's fair.
Okay? That's number one. Number two, Roger Craig Smith and Troy Baker are back as Batman and Joker, who were the ones who did it in Arkham Origins.
Oh boy, the alternates.
Yep.
I mean, they weren't bad. I'll give you that.
For sure.
And Troy Baker, he did a good Mark Hamill impersonation. I'll put it that way.
It'll use the Batman Arkham Knight game engine.
Hopefully, an updated version. Because with each iteration of those games, graphically, it looked a lot better. And Gotham City is one of those open worlds that, as graphics improve, it just looks so much fucking better. It's this is definitely a series which I would say graphics are important
For
to
sure.
kind of push them forward, but I guess we'll see. All right, number 12.
Number 12, you play as Batman and Robin. Pretty interesting.
Do you think it's gonna be a Grand Theft Auto sort of semi-switch thing, or
No. That would
No?
be great, though. Speaking of, since we just talked about it, I just got a comment real quick. I'm going to put a wall up. This is actually working out the fact that it's 15 different pages, because it gives us a moment to react as the new page is loading.
I guess so.
Next up, Joker's back.
Dude, I could have told you.
Shocker.
There's only been one game that hasn't featured them, and I'm sure they felt it. They were like, ooh,
Yeah.
look at the disaster it became.
Next up,
We had to
we're
pull it from the
finally
store.
fighting the Court of Owls.
That's fucking awesome.
That's going to be like the primary bads.
Yeah, if anyone has not looked up or has not read anything about the Court of Owls or anything like that, go check out Comics Explained. It's a YouTube channel.
Okay.
And they do he does a good synopsis on it if you want to be caught up on kind of what to expect. I'm sure it'll be an original story.
For sure.
And it won't mirror exactly this one, but really interesting. It's like the Illuminati, basically, of Gotham. Do you know anything about them?
Nope.
All right, well, check them out.
I'll watch the video. Next up, proper boss battles are back. So that was, to me, one of the bigger disappointments or issues that I had with Arkham Knight.
There weren't any boss battles in there, were there? I didn't even think about that.
Yep. So we're going to have boss battles back again. Hopefully something like that Mr. Freeze fight from Arkham City. Next up, set in coastal area of Batman with expanded interiors, Wayne Manor, and the Batcave.
Dude, that's fucking awesome.
Yep.
Like, I can give a shit about the Batcave,
no,
but
that's
Wayne,
cool.
Wayne Manor,
yeah,
that is really fucking cool.
Batmobile's tank mode is gone, so this is before the
Just get rid of the
Batmobile could turn
fucking
into a
Batmobile
tank.
altogether. Like,
No, I think I like the idea of the Batmobile, but fuck.
I would say like call it in to do things for story elements.
Yeah.
But you don't need to drive it. Flying around the city is way funner. We both know that.
Yeah.
And if you're not gonna have the tank mode, then what's the point?
Here's the quote on it. It says, "The combat mostly consists of chase sequences and using the Batmobile's superior speed and maneuverability to navigate around slower opponents while bombing the hell out of them with the car's weaponry." So it's more like a kart racer where you have weapons, something like Blur. I don't know if you ever played Blur. Nah, you don't want racing games. If you guys ever played Blur,
Keep your racing games out of my Batman. Thank you very much.
still minimal civilians. I'll read the context for that. It said that the main playable area is populated by villains and criminals with a whole heap of trapped civilians that Batman and Robin will need to rescue. Cynically or realistically, given the history of the franchise, you can read that as, yep, we're still not giving a version where civilian life is properly represented.
Do you want one?
I mean, no.
I mean, who gives a shit?
It's one of those things where it's like how they did in everybody was pissed in Man of Steel how Batman or Superman like killed a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And then in Batman versus Superman, they explain. They're like, hey, they're out there fighting on that island at nighttime where no one's there.
I'm sorry. Don't worry. It's been fully evacuated. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Part was loud for everyone else.
I don't like some fucking cheesy ass explanation.
Well, it's not in reaction to that.
Yeah.
Because it's basically like, why would they waste the power from the hardware having to render a bunch of civilians that are just gonna go like, what was that? What game is it where you can drive around but you can't hit anybody? They just go and run out of the way. It's like an open world game.
I don't know. There's a lot of games like that.
What's the point of rendering those people to begin with?
Yeah, but a lot of it has to do with like taking you out of that experience.
Have you ever felt taken out of the experience?
Yeah.
Nighttime in Gotham.
Yeah.
And there's not just a bunch of people walking around?
It's, I'll be playing it and Elizabeth will be sitting next to me being like, why is Gotham completely empty?
That's why you should be like, shut up.
Whoa.
Look, I love Liz just like the next person. Right? But don't question the Batman. Just be like, listen here, whore.
But when the explanation is you can't do it from a technology standpoint, although it's a good explanation, you sound like I do when I talk about how Nintendo makes their decisions.
I'm just having fun. Like, I don't think it's a big deal, but that's all right.
Pepiv says lack of civilians was immersion breaking for me in previous games. Well, there you go. You call him Pepiv a bitch?
Pepiv is more of a man than both of us.
That's way true. Next up, basic combat is being revamped. I'm going to read the quote on this one. Combat has been expanded to better accommodate one-on-one fights. It's still rhythm-based, where you have to time all the correct button presses exactly, but it's more complicated than the attack-counter basis of the previous games.
All right, that's actually fucking pretty cool.
Yep. A huge number of additional skins.
Oh!
Yeah, those are kind of immersion-breaking. Even though I love playing as, like, this version of Batman.
You know, what I don't understand is, like, this was a big budget production back in the day, the Adam West Batman.
Yeah.
How did they have it so poorly? Like, people were good at making clothes and costumes back then. Like, they weren't just incompetent at it.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying it has to look as good as the Christian Bale Batman. But they're like, all right, so we don't know how to give you like 3D eyebrows.
The only live-action superhero show that existed before it was Superman.
I know.
And the George Reeves Superman was like just as shitty as this.
Whoa, shitty.
In terms of costumes.
I mean, I agree, but like, Might upset some people out there.
Well, I just mean in terms of costumes.
Oh,
Content.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not spoken.
You know what the best part of the Christian Bale Batman was? You couldn't see his dick outline. Well, same thing with Michael Keaton, too, I guess.
Best part.
But, dude, like, if you ever go back and watch, like, fucking the Spider-Man and all that shit, too, it's like you can clearly see the outline of, like, their dick and balls, and it's like...
I've never noticed. But...
Like, do you want that guy to come save you? Is that what you're wanting? Anyways,
here's the list. Do you want me to read the list of costumes? I'm just gonna do it while you're typing.
How about this? I'll read the list, and you answer Victoria's question there.
I don't want to answer Victoria's question.
It's about she's bringing home food for us.
Don't worry. No, just answer your question.
Fine.
I'm gonna read the list. Arkham Asylum. These are a list of costumes that'll be available. Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight, Arkham Origins, Batman Begins, Batman vs Superman, New 52, Rebirth Batman, Year One Batman, Dark Knight Returns Batman, Adam West Batman, Anime Batman, Batman Noel, Classic Batman, First Appearance Batman, Nightfall Batman, Batman Beyond, Earth 1, Earth 2, Flashpoint, Red Sun, Green Lantern, and several more.
That isn't a lot, I'll give you that.
Robust list.
But I can see myself, like, switching through them, going, oh, that's cool. And then just going back to the one that's in the game so it's not super immersion breaking. Because, that to me is immersion breaking. But, yeah.
Next up, and we only have 3 more. Riddler collectibles and Raceways are back.
What do you mean back? They never went anywhere.
Just letting you know they're not going anywhere.
Okay.
Ain't going nowhere. 2 more. A very deep roster of additional villains. They read Maxi Zeus. Actually, I don't think I'm going to read this. I feel like it's too spoilery. You want me to read it? No, I'm not going to read it. You can look at it if you want to real quick. If you guys really want to see it, just Google it.
Yeah, no, that is pretty spoilers. It's a shame my favorite Batman villain was basically a throwaway piece of garbage in the first game, which is Zaz.
Yeah.
Like specifically, like from like No Man's Land. It was just such a cool character, like murdering all these people and tally marks. But he was just some douchebag that you knock out with one punch in Arkham Asylum, and I was like, fuck.
And then finally, there will be DLC.
He's not in this one.
There will be DLC for Hugo Strange.
All right.
Terminator says the skins are what convinced me to never buy an Arkham game until the Game of the Year edition. I can feel you on that. Dude, the part that really bothered me about it, and this is a trend that I hate in general, we may have talked about it before, and we may talk about it in the future, but just briefly, is when there are when there are retailer exclusive pre-order bonuses, where it's like pre-order from GameStop and get the Batman Year One skin, pre-order from Walmart and get the Batman fucking Arkham Knight skin, pre-order from, I don't know, some weird retailer that nobody's ever heard of, pre-order
Game UK.
Yeah. Which people know that one, but yeah. Pre-order from Game UK.
James is like, I got mine from Haggis Stop, and I got Haggis Batman.
I got that Haggis, man. Platform and retail exclusive skins pissed me off. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, so what you're telling me essentially is if I want to have all the content in this game, I have to buy it 6 different times.
Yeah. Or you just wait till it all comes out in a bundle, like is what Terminator did.
Still, fuck that shit. Man.
Based on all these rumors, I feel like this is legitimate. This seems legitimate to me. The timelines make sense. I feel like this is going to be an October release. Announced at E3, out in October.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, I've said this before, I don't think on stream, but I'd never want to live in a world where there are not Batman movies coming.
Okay.
They're always a spectacle. They might be good, they might suck shit, but it's always that thing where it's like, oh man, the new fucking Batman movie. It's always
that. We got Suicide Squad.
It's always that thing that you look forward to just to see what the fuck it is, see how they do it, right?
Yeah.
And I feel kind of the same way about. I didn't used to, but after the Arkham games came out, I now feel kind of the same way about.
For sure.
About the
video
games.
That.
Like even if they're the same, roughly each time, like it's kind of a guilty pleasure. It's still fun just to go through and pretend to be better. I've been there. Yeah. It's a pisser, man. So yeah, I'm excited.
I just remembered a topic that I really wanted to talk about that I forgot to put in the slides.
What is it?
Do you want to just slide it in, inject it now, or do you want to wait?
Well, what is it?
It's about Marvel.
Yes.
Slide it in.
I mean, we can just talk about it on this. Like, we don't need to make a slide for it.
No, we're not going to slide it in. We're not going to make a slide
that would
for
be
it.
just sketchy looking. By the way, did you want Victoria to get you anything?
No,
so, okay. All right, man.
Actually, yeah. Just tell her to
There's
repeat what
hangouts.
you. No,
Okay.
just tell her to repeat what you got.
All right.
Same thing you got, whatever that is. Sorry, guys, we're making a little bit of sausage back here. Oh, this is
So,
video.
It looks like what you're doing. Marvel wants Game of the Year quality shit.
What they said is, and I
From
would
their new
prefer to read
games.
the quote. Nope.
For to read your mom's quote. You know what I'm saying, baby? Got him.
She said she's already ordered.
Oh.
Shit happens, bro.
All right. Oh, sorry, matey.
It's all good.
I'll suck your dick. Will that fill your tummy up? Want
What?
Want some cummies in your tummies? You know what I'm saying? You like that?
No.
All right, let's see. Text Twitter says, "God damn, it's good to see DKP. That
Dang.
sexy, slick back hair getting me all worked up." Hey, man, same. I'd rather see the outline of Adam West's penis than his ribs. Yeah, it just makes me sad. Like, I'm sure he's still got a dick. That being said, like, you can't see his ribs like that anymore. No way.
Nope.
Which makes them that much harder for me to get.
Dude, I cannot find
Unlike
this.
yours, you know what I'm saying, baby? All right, well, just give me the gist of it. Like, or we
The
can,
gist
or
of
we
it
can
is
talk
that
about
Marvel.
it next week.
So Marvel is going to take a similar approach with their games that they are taking with their movies, which is find the right talent to do this. Find the right directors, find the right writers, find the right people to do it, and
So
let them do
have
their
James
vision.
Gunn
of it.
write the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Exactly.
video
James
game.
Gunn, the guy who wrote Slither, have him do Guardians of the Galaxy.
Like, holy shit, he did. It was him, huh?
Yeah. So like find the right talent. If you get the right talent behind a product, like build the talent first and then build the product. Don't build the product and then attach people to it.
Yeah.
Like this person's attached to this or whatever. Go the opposite way. So they want to do that with games. And what they said is specifically that they want every one of their Marvel games to be Game of the Year material. They want it to win Game of the Year. Every single one of their games. So the Guardians of the Galaxy Telltale, they want it to be written in a way, they're like, we want a Guardians of the Galaxy game. How can we get the humor and like the correct approach with Guardians of the Galaxy? Who can do this right? And they're like, oh, Telltale could. Here you go, Telltale. Tell us a story. Whatever you want to do, whatever characters you want to use, however you want to do this, just make an incredibly good
with
game.
DC, they're gonna finger Telltale for that.
Yeah.
Marvel's gonna get Naughty Dog watch.
So they're like, we want a really good Spider-Man game. Hey, Insomniac, do you guys want to make a Spider-Man game? So they're finding
So
talent
Marvel
first.
is thinking, or at least saying, that they're anticipating Spider-Man will be Game of the Year material.
Yes.
That's exciting.
Yes.
Because I kind of trust Marvel with that. Like,
for sure. And that's the approach thing that I really like. What they said
I
is,
trust them to at least be like employ enough scrutiny on the product when they see it in development to nitpick.
They don't want to put schedules on any of their games,
which is fucking great. Yeah.
So it's not like, hey, you have to hit the same date that the Blu-ray comes out. You have to hit the same day it comes out in theaters. They don't have to hit any of that. It doesn't have to tie directly in, as long as it's the character. It doesn't have to tie directly into what's happening in the movies. Doesn't have to tie into the comics.
So they can just tell
whatever story you want. Retell the universe in whatever way you want, similar to the Batman games. Do whatever you want to do with it.
Yeah.
But find talent. Do what you want to do with it. Don't worry about schedule. Here's a giant bag of money. Make a game of the year.
Let's hit a couple comments, then we'll elaborate on this.
Okay.
Because what right here was saying was like, well, yeah, every game developer wants, of course, game of the year. But everything you just said, as far as Marvel being like, all right, here's this fucking IP, which like part of the work's already done for you. You don't have to create, like, you know about what you can do with it.
For sure.
You might be passionate about the character already, which like would probably fucking help out.
Yep.
No fucking restraints on development time, which is fucking excellent. And every developer wants Game of the Year, but either developers are sometimes either
they're restricted.
Restricted because of their other like talent that they can
their
acquire,
budget, their timeline.
But when it's not
all
only,
of that stuff is
when it's not only not an issue, but you have to basically meet a quality standard of what essentially ramps up to Disney
for sure
for Final Say probably. Yeah, that's gonna be fucking Like, probably going back and forth a lot.
Yeah.
So this might be 3 years till we see the first title outside of Spider-Man.
For sure.
I wouldn't doubt that. But that's fucking good. I like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wish I could find the article to like read the exact quotes. That's just the Cliff Notes version of it. But yeah, very, very interesting. Good stuff. This would require allowing freedom for the dev team writers to use characters as they want. They have yet to do that with the animated stuff or TV stuff. Another important thing about Marvel's IP is that it brings an audience from the movies. That's true. You got to replace that damn fire alarm battery.
I made a solemn vow at the beginning of this prep ape that by...
I mean, yeah, that's all you have to do is replace that battery.
It will be...
I'll help you do it.
Dude, no, I've done that. They keep beeping.
Okay.
I have to get maintenance out here.
That's fair.
To do it.
All right.
That's why it's still been a problem.
All right, cool.
Motherfucker, I replaced the battery. All right. So, anything else on that?
No.
All right, cool. Well, be excited.
Be excited.
Be excited.
Actually, one more thing.
Yeah.
The concerning piece about that is the expectation for these games is going to be through the fucking roof. So if they're not 9s or higher, they're going to be like 6s because they're just going to disappoint to the point of a 6. That's what scares me.
Yeah.
Having anticipation for a game and expectation for a game ruins games for me so much.
You think they have someone upstairs playing basketball. Another
exactly
important thing about
happening.
Marvel's IP is that it brings the audience from the movies. Yep. And Terminator says this would require allowing freedom for the dev team's writers to use characters as they want. They have yet to do that with the animated stuff or TV stuff. That's also true.
Yep.
Which, like, if there's specific details on like what characters they can use, that's really important. Because I was watching a documentary recently about Roger Corman's Fantastic Four, the one that like never officially got released.
Yeah. You can find it online and watch it.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, but like they made a documentary about it that came out on Amazon recently. It's really good. I recommend it. But yeah, they go into it and they're talking about like, okay, well, they got the rights for Fantastic Four, but that doesn't mean like they can just use any villain in that universe. Each villain, like if they want to use, like they wanted to use like Mole Man or whatever or whomever it was, and they were like, all right, well, we have to literally get like clearance or approval from each additional like main character that's ever been associated with the series. Like, you basically get like, all right, here's your playground, here are the people that are in it, make a story, and if you want extra ones, you have to go lobby for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not like, okay, well, we got Spider-Man, so now we can just pick any fucking, any villain we want from Spider-Man, or maybe from the extended universe with Spider-Man.
Kind of reminds me of what happened with Sam Raimi for Spider-Man 3. Like, he really wanted to use Vulture, I think. Or no, this was Spider-Man 4. So Sam Raimi was working on Spider-Man 4, and he wanted to use the Vulture, but they didn't want him to use Vulture. So he's just like, okay, I'm not doing this movie.
Well, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do not want to see Tobey Maguire.
Dude, the same sort of thing happened with Ant-Man, where, what's the guy's name that directed Shaun of the Dead? Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
Edgar Wright was initially attached to direct Ant-Man, but they're like, hey, we want to do all these things, and he's like, nah. Specifically, like, they're like, we want to put characters from the other Marvel Cinematic Universe movies in this movie, like how it had Falcon and stuff in it.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I want this to be focused on this. Like, if you want to take the character and do stuff with him later, that's fine, but I don't want any Marvel superheroes in this movie other than Ant-Man. And they're like, okay, well, we're doing it. And he's like,
yeah,
I'm not. And then he left. So
I am.
Yeah. And I can appreciate that. I can appreciate, creatively speaking, if things don't work, you're willing to drop the bag of money off and say, fuck you.
Well, I think Edgar Wright especially has to do that. Like, his track record's really well. He can't afford to, like, have a blue. He can, but why not go undefeated?
Absolutely. What'd you see on Netflix? A documentary about Fantastic Four, and it's on Amazon.
Yeah. For if you have Prime, you can watch it. Or there's probably other ways to... I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
All right. And no, we do not want another Iron Man movie again.
Yeah, no thank you.
Which, that was actually, funny enough, featured as a clip in one of the games you should have played series on YouTube. When looking at shitty movie tie-ins.
Yeah.
They used a clip from that, yeah. All right, ready to move on? Yep. All right, let's do it. All right, Shenmue 1 and 2 HD.
This comes from Gamatsu. I was going to say Gamasutra, but it's Gamatsu. Written by Sal Romano.
The documentary is called Doomed, The Untold Story, by the way.
Sal Romano.
They fucking would hire someone named Sal Romano.
Thank you. Quote, high-definition remasters of Shenmue and Shenmue 2 will launch in 2017, according to a trusted source close to Atlas USA. The website reports that both games may be released together rather than separately, and are likely geared up to launch before Shenmue 3. While it doesn't have any further information on the website, that it was told it is safe to assume a PC and Steam release, and that there has not been any indication that the remasters will appear on any other platform. It'll be on PS4.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 3 was announced on a PS4 stage. The authorities of the article previously leaked information that Atlas would publish King of Fighters 14 a few days before its official announcement. So that, adds to their credibility. Prior to that, in May 2017, Sega said it was investigating, working on remasters of 1 and 2.
This isn't hey, they're developing it.
These are rumors.
But the rumors are,
like it says up there.
To my understanding, they're still thinking about it. Or they're gearing up.
Let me reread it.
Because I'm reading it right here, and it says,
the website said it's safe to assume... Okay, wait. A trusted source... it says, high definition of Shenmue 1 and 2 will launch in 2017, according to a trusted source.
All right.
And they may be released together. Outside of that, they don't have any information.
This is such a weird thing for me, because... One, Shenmue 3 is only being made based on the Kickstarter. That's it. And I don't know if anyone who hasn't played the Shenmue series, if just simply giving it a graphical up... I know. Quit tapping.
I'm not tapping the mic. I'm tapping the man boob next to it.
I don't know if just upgrading the graphics is going to make it palatable for people that didn't play it back when it was innovative. If that makes sense.
Everybody said your mic died. And then they said it's back.
Yeah, it should be fine. While that's really exciting for me, because as an already fan and I get to go back and play them, I'm sure the intent is to ramp people up to purchase Shenmue 3.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's going to do that. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I'm way less interested in Shenmue 3 since I haven't played through 1 and 2.
No, what I mean is
And I would buy Shenmue 1 and 2. And I would buy 3 if I liked it.
It's one of my favorite game series ever. It's up there with Metal Gear and shit. But it's not for everybody. Yeah. It would have been for most people if they played it when it was innovative and new.
Yeah.
But some of the shit that you have to do in it is kind of what you would consider obtuse. Yeah. If you never played it. So I just don't know if it's going to be received well by people that... an example would be this. And a very brief example, then we can move on. Or at least to the rest of this, but the Resident Evil HD remake came out. The remake, yeah. Right? And I convinced my friend to buy it, because he never played it. He never played any of the Resident Evil, so I was like, this is fucking great, it's $20 on Steam, you should purchase it.
Is this Jonathan?
Yeah. Not Angry Tomato, but Blonde Jonathan.
Yeah.
And he got it, and he was like, yeah, I just couldn't get the fucking controls. Played it for 5 minutes and just couldn't do it.
You can change the controls.
Yeah, he even tried the modern ones. But just the fixed camera angles and shit just didn't work for him. And I'm afraid that, that's going to happen with Shenmue HD 2. But, on a wider scale. We'll see. I hope not. I hope people like it just as much as I did. And then get the magic of it, but...
For sure.
I don't know, man.
I liked Ant-Man too. Ant-Man as well. It was disappointing after what I thought was 3 incredible Marvel movies.
I thought it was alright. It was fun.
Yeah.
And different than some of the other ones. They're going to re-record all the English voices. I hope not. It's very much I don't know, it's part of its charm, kind of
For sure.
And I think that if they redid them, it would lose a lot of its soul, you know what I mean? That made it Shenmue.
So I'm in on a Delta flight from Austin to New York and wished I never paid $3 for the headphones.
I don't know how people hated it that much. It was fun.
I didn't hate it that much. Yeah, thought it was funny. The part where the guy's telling all the stories.
Yeah.
Really good. All right.
The not so subtle but not offensive product placement of Baskin Robbins.
Yeah.
You know?
Baskin Robbins.
All right, we good?
I'm good. I just want to say before we move on, I just said it, but basically, if this comes out, especially, maybe only, but especially if it comes out on PlayStation, I'll definitely buy it. And I don't want to play Shenmue 3 at all until I play 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So.
Oh no, don't.
like me purchasing Shenmue 3 is like hinged on if I get an opportunity to play these. So I think it's smart. I think it's a good idea.
Well, like Shenmue 3, for all intents and purposes, like shouldn't exist. We're gonna be honest. Like 1 and 2, so
yeah.
In 3, somehow it just got kickstarted randomly, like just from like with a goodwill of fans alone, and the people at PlayStation to allow it to be advertised at E3. Like it shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
It really shouldn't. I'm happy it does, because it's closure to a series that I never got.
For sure.
And it ended like, all right, we'll be next time on Dragon Ball Z. Like, hey, it's coming right out. Don't worry. Don't worry. I know this is a horrible cliffhanger. Worse than Halo 2.
Yeah.
And then it just never, like Half-Life 3 there, it's equivalent to that.
Another series that never played through.
But best case scenario, I don't know I'm talking too much about this, so I'll wrap it up here.
You're good.
Like best case scenario, people do like 1 and 2. 3 sells really well. And the series originally was supposed to be like 7 parts. Like it was supposed to be a long series.
Yeah.
And maybe it can revitalize that and have the story won't have to be condensed.
Yeah.
Really
Close
bad.
it out. It may take 20 years, but we'll close it out.
Yeah. So I wish it all the best, but cautiously optimistic.
For sure.
Very cautiously. That's even if it happens. All right.
All right, this comes from roadtovr.com. Never heard of that website in my life. Ben Lang wrote this. Official Sony sold nearly 1 million PSVR headsets in 4.5 months, despite their limited stock. Quote, Sony is the first of the 3 big tethered VR headset makers to drop official sales. 915,000 PSVR headsets sold as of February 19th. And it likely could have been more, save for the fact that the device has been surprisingly hard to find. Andrew House, president of Sony Computer Entertainment, confirmed the PSVR sales data. As the first company to offer such information, it means that Sony is not only happy with the figure, but likely confident that they're well ahead of the competing Oculus and HTC Vive, which from rumors, from what I hear, is together combined at about 700,000. As the New York Times cites as a point of reference, the original iPhone launched in 2007 and saw about 1.4 million units in its first 3 months. So, the iPhone.
So, does it say what their projected sales
From my understanding, their projected sales was to hit that in 6, and they hit it in 4.
Excellent.
Yeah. Quote, it's the classic case in any organization. The guys who are on the front end of sales are getting very excited, very hyped up. You have to temper that with other voices inside the company, myself among them, saying, let's just be a little careful. You literally have people lining up outside of stores when they know stock is being replenished. He said, despite not meeting overly enthusiastic analyst predictions, 915,000 of any high-end tethered VR headset is a major point of validation for the VR industry and likely gives the headset a sizable head start in install base over competitors, which may grow developer interest for the platform.
Yeah, that's what's like, okay, I don't own a PSVR, but I'm really excited to see it selling well.
For sure.
Just solely on the fact that, like, if this does well, VR, like I said, as an industry, does well. And, I mean, everyone's complaints about VR, including ours, it's like, okay, everything's fucking tech demos, basically, with the exception of Resident Evil. Resident Evil is a full fucking length one, and people said it worked, like, it was actually executed well, worked really well in VR.
Sure.
So if we want more of that, and we want that to get better, then VR as a whole needs to do better.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, it's gonna fucking basically just die in the womb.
Yep. Textful Davis says, lower price point, no surprise it's going to sell more. Doesn't mean that it's better. I mean, that's definitely the case. If you think about, like, the Wii. The Wii outsold the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 dramatically, and it is nowhere near as good as the others. With that being said, I think the PSVR is incredible. It's easily the most comfortable. It's great that it's the cheapest. It has the, like, types of games that I want to play on it. They feel like more complete experiences. Not that they're way longer or anything like that, but they feel more complete. Like, a lot of the games that I played on Vive feel like demos. But to counter that point, the Vive is a way better piece of tech. Yep. The resolution, way better. The room scan, way better. Having the ability to walk around freely in a room in virtual reality feels much, much cooler than it does in PSVR. Much cooler.
Right here, the number one opponent of VR says, dude, I can't wait to pay $800 for that one game. Well, you see, if it keeps doing well, you'll be paying $800 for a lot of good games.
Or they will continue to iterate on the technology, and it'll get cheaper and more powerful.
Ooh.
And then you don't have to pay $800 for anything.
And let's be real here. You're paying $800 for one game and a lot of pornography.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's fucking weird.
He's saying this, but he's also a person that's paying $300 for a Nintendo Switch to play.
You talking about me?
I'm talking about both you guys, but specifically I'm talking about him. He's buying a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, fair enough.
And the two games I know he's getting are Zelda and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which are both games you can play on Wii U.
Ooh, it's got you dead to rights.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, man.
I'm just giving you shit for one game.
So, yeah, good.
I think, yeah. Text for Dips, I think you have a
it.
good comment here. I think we're still in the toddler baby steps of VR right now. Next 5 years are going to be interesting. Yay, porn. Yeah, dude, VR porn, legit. Legit. It feels like being in a strip club. It's very cool.
Yep. It'll be real nice when the technology is small and compact enough where you can just, all right, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Instead of like, all right, gotta set up the keyboard.
Let's set up the whole goddamn thing real quick.
Like, all right.
Let's move the coffee table out of the way.
And I can't like touch my headset again because hands
I got
soiled,
jizz lobber all over it.
Once it's more everything's gonna increment better and better and better, including the pornography.
Right here says that's a fraction of the price. It is. The fraction is 1/2. So still quite a bit of money to pay. It's quite a bit of money to pay for one game.
And with way less launch time. Well, I don't know if you consider any Vive games full time.
Dude, I'm getting a shitload of launch games. But that's what I do with all things. I think I bought like 20 launch games for PSVR. It'd be cool if VR was convenient as a Switch. True that, though.
It will be one day, I'm sure. But
that's the biggest issue with the Switch, is how inconvenient it is to play.
So you're saying that VR would get worse if it was as convenient as the Switch?
No, I'd say it would get better. Because VR is massively inconvenient to play now.
Oh,
if it's like, hey, DKP.
No, sorry, you misspoke. You said that's the main problem with the Switch, is how inconvenient it is to play.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you. All right.
If I'm like, hey, DKP, let's play VR after we're done with this stream. Okay? Like, that's a lot of setup and... Yeah.
Like,
I would totally
there are people that have like, dedicated areas, and it's real easy.
For sure.
I don't. This little studio, as we call it, is basically like all Murphy bed sort of scenario, where it's like everything packs up, and you pack it back down. So, yeah. A little bit of a pain in the ass, but it's fun for demonstrations.
It is, absolutely.
All right, we good?
We good, fam.
All right.
The Xbox Game Pass.
The Xbox Game Pass.
Okay, got an article here from GameSpot. Xbox Game Pass gets more details from Aaron Greenberg.
Who's the cuck that wrote this?
His name is Eddie McCuck.
Give me them ribs.
Microsoft has shared a few more details about its recently announced Xbox Game Pass subscription service. After Microsoft confirmed that Xbox Game Pass does not impact games with gold, Aaron Greenberg talked on Twitter about how home sharing, gifting, and more. Asked if Microsoft would let users purchase a Game Pass and gift it to a friend. He said this is not a confirmed feature, but he likes the idea. He also confirmed that the Xbox Game Pass will have a month-to-month subscription, which is $10. So $10 a month. It'll cost you $120 a year. But you get like 100 plus games.
Now, okay, I'll just let you read the rest of the article.
No, please,
questions.
Go ahead.
Do you stream these or do you download?
You download them.
Wow, so better than PlayStation Plus.
Yeah. You keep them as long as you pay for the service. And it's got like Halo 5, it's got Fable 3, it's got Gears of War, Mad Max, Terraria, Mega Man Legacy Collection, Lego
as long
Batman.
as you're not having to stream them.
Yeah.
Like, nobody likes streaming games.
Yep. As long as you're paying for it, you got them. A beta version of the Game Pass is currently available for Xbox One testers. The service is expected to launch for Xbox One owners this spring, though a specific date has not been announced. There will be more than 100 games in the Xbox Game Pass library, spread across Xbox One and 360 titles that you can play on the console. There are more than 10 confirmed titles already, including Halo 5, Fable 3, Payday 2. You can see a list of all the confirmed games so far here, which I am now opening.
We don't gotta...
Oh, I want to read it.
Dude, there's like 100 of them.
No, they said there's 10 confirmed.
Oh.
Fable 3, Gears of War Ultimate Edition. Halo 5 Guardians, Lego Batman, Mad Max, Mega Man Legacy Collection, NBA 2K16, Payday 2, Saints Row 4 Re-Elected, Soul Calibur 2, and Tekken Tag 2. So, pretty cool. I think $10 is a little steep, but...
For 10 games?
For 100 games.
Oh, but yeah, well, is it all... Wait, maybe I misheard you.
For sure.
It's launching with 10, right?
No, it's launching with 100. Those are the 10 that they've announced so far.
Oh, okay. I don't think that's fucking really that steep.
I mean,
like consider PlayStation.
If you don't buy games, I think it's the way to go. And if you haven't played a lot of these games.
Oh well yeah. I mean,
like I personally,
if you own
based on the
most of
game
them,
collection
sure.
that I currently have and everything, like it doesn't make a lot of sense for someone like me. But if you ain't got them fast funds coming in, you balling on a budget, it might be much better for you. Been weeks since I've seen a good rib getting.
Hey man, we'll be there.
Phil Davis says, at K Thanks Kai wants to know if they will have Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. God, I hope so. I fucking
those
love
Xbox games.
There's probably download versions of them. I know there are on most platforms. Fucking.
It's a very specific request, but
nah, dude. Those like I'm not a huge fan of playing Jeopardy because it's like smart people trivia. Not really my forte. But I love me some Wheel of Fortune. I love me even more than that is Family Feud. You play some Family Feud? You get down on the feud?
I find.
How do you feel about me saying get down on the feud?
Pretty on the fence about it, but no, I know I've never been on Family Feud before, and the current iteration with Steve Harvey just being like, "What did you say? Was that a dick joke that I clearly said I put the ball on the tee and handed you the appropriate driver for? What?
Name something you can pass. A dick in these balls."
Yeah, like,
oh,
name something that you would put in a mouth, an ass, and your hand. Like, a dick. What?
Did he just say that?
The answer was shit. I can't believe that. Come on.
I can't believe you said a pangus.
That's basically like what. Like, so no, I don't. What did you say? Get down on?
Down with the feud.
No, I'm not
Are you down with the feud?
I mean, I'm not against the feud.
Okay.
But I'm down with OPP, but not the feud.
I do know you.
Yes, I'm glad we established that.
Good question, K Thanks Kai. Yeah, I hope those games are available. Let's move on.
All right. Also,
yes.
What is it? Drew Carey sucks.
As the Price is Right host?
Yeah, we need fucking Bob Barker back big time.
Dude, I'd take Bob Barker in a wheelchair over Drew Carey.
Price is wrong, bitch. That is such a fantastic fucking cameo.
Yeah, it is.
Like, all right, hey, hey, Bob, I'm gonna beat you up on a golf course. You down for this movie? And I'm gonna call you a bitch. I can't, Okay, I'm having too much fun. It's been too long.
Right?
Derailing.
This is gonna be a long one, but that's completely fine by me. We're like halfway through and we're at an hour, which I guess is about the normal length. But our last two topics are conversational topics, so they may run a little long. Sorry. To derail us even further. So I've been doing that Good Morning Major Tom show.
Yep.
It's 5 weeks. It's gonna go 3 days a week, and it's all about Nintendo Switch. So I talk so much. I've talked so much Nintendo Switch already, and I will be talking so much in the future. Rebate may not have tons and tons of Nintendo Switch conversations.
Oh God, no!
But there are a couple of things that I think our audience needs your reaction for, needs to hear your thoughts on. Because
are you picking things that are gonna piss me off? Is that what you're doing?
No, like there are two Nintendo topics. One of them I think is potentially bad news, and one of them I think is good news. So
all right, well, let's hear it then.
Regardless of who you are. So this is something that I have talked about on Good Morning Major Tom already, but we're going to talk about it right here as well. There will be no virtual console at launch. So I got an article.
What the fuck, man?
Do you want to just skip the article? Because we don't need the article. We know the gist of it.
Do they give an excuse?
They say no. They just say that it won't be available at
then
launch.
No, we don't need the article.
Okay.
What the fuck, man? No, before, okay, so a little bit of behind the scenes here. Earlier, I said the exact same thing when you were like, oh yeah, we're going to talk about this. I was like, what the fuck, man? You're like, well, I'm actually pretty excited that it's not launching with the virtual console.
No.
You used the term tickled.
No, you're taking things out of context. I said, I was
It doesn't
really...
matter, just give the context then.
I am. I said, I was really pissed about this at first, but as time has gone on, I've gotten really excited about it.
Doesn't matter. Your journey on how
yes,
you got
it does.
there.
Because you could eventually get to this point as well.
Never gonna happen.
Let me.
All right.
Do you want to hear why I'm cool with this?
Yeah,
not only cool with it, but
that's what I'm saying. I want you to go first. Yeah.
Okay. So it's two things primarily. One is associated with me, and one is associated with Nintendo.
Okay.
Okay. So my reasoning behind it, like, this is something that I've been hoping for and dreaming for, Virtual Console. Have the best, most robust library you've ever had. Have tons of options available for people to download. Mm-hmm. If I want to fucking download all 3 Donkey Kong countries and every Mega Man X game and Mario RPG and Final Fantasy games and all that, like, give me the option.
It's actually pretty funny you can do that on 3DS right now.
Yeah. You sure can.
Just those specifically ones you name dropped.
Yep. They're good games.
The fact that you can't on
their brand new hardware.
But you keep going.
So if all of this stuff was available on launch day, I would A, spend way more money, and B, probably not spend as much time with, like, the actual Nintendo Switch library.
Man.
Hold on.
Man, remember what is this number one place for?
Major Tom being a Nintendo apologist.
And we picked that off a list randomly, but I had no idea you were actually going to be doing it.
Oh, you absolutely knew. I told you these things earlier today.
No, I wanted to pick the ones that was number one place for airplanes.
You should have. Why didn't you do that? Well, now we can't use that one because you just used it now.
Nah, man.
People will forget.
Nah, man.
We'll just make it the last one on the list.
Last prep ape ever. No more place for airplanes.
No more place for airplanes.
Anyways, continue.
So, I feel like if I did, like, the game that I actually plan to download and play first is Shovel Knight, which I've already beaten.
But you said, like, that's because it's
because it's 147 meg.
It's the first one you'll be able to play.
Yeah, I'll be able to play it while everything else is downloading in the background. I'll be able to. That'll be like the first Switch game that I'll have the opportunity to play because I'm not gonna sit there while Zelda downloads for 13 gigs and just sit there with my dick in my hands. I want to be playing something while it's downloading.
Unfortunately.
Do what?
That's what I'm gonna be doing. Unfortunately. And by the way, we'll be streaming Friday morning.
Whoa.
What? Is this supposed to be a surprise?
Yeah.
Why will we surprise stream? Do we want no one to show up?
No. It's a Good Morning Major Tom stream every Friday at 11 a.m. So the plan was that I would start and we would have the logo up and everybody thinks I'm at my house. And then I just fucking slide the chair over, you slide in, and it's like, bam. DKP
there's
is
some
joining
people
us.
that aren't going to be here tonight for prep. We'll do that
DKP
anyways.
is joining us for Good Morning Major Tom.
You never fucking ran this by me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to blow up your spot.
It's okay. Everybody knows now. It's cool. If you want to see me and me and DKP unbox the Nintendo Switch and possibly do a little bit of streaming, make sure you check out Good Morning Major Tom.
Well, I was going to say
Friday morning at 11 a.m.
You can quite literally tune in for me waiting for Zelda to download with my dick in my hand right here.
But luckily, my stuff, because I'm getting it at midnight, will already be. Most of it should already be downloaded, so we'll have some streaming while
we'll do the unboxing, and then like the stream will be probably from yours.
Yeah,
I guess. So sorry I blew up your spot.
Cool.
Wait, no apologies.
No apologies.
What I meant to say was tough shit.
Tough shit. Hey, it's cool, man. It happens. And yes, I should have run it by you. So that's one thing. I'm okay with the idea because I want to make sure that I'm spending time with the newer stuff and not get lost in a sea of fucking downloading Super Mario Brothers 3 again. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Number 2. Nintendo, from a business perspective, needs to be able to not have everything available at launch. Because anybody who has a large library or has tons of options for something, a lot of times they end up either A, not going with anything, or B, just picking some one random thing. Now, you will sell more games. They will sell more games if they release them periodically. If they do like, okay, Virtual Console is out. Here's Mario 1 through 3, Link to the Past, and Donkey Kong Country. If they have those games, the chance of they will increase the amount of opportunity they will have to sell all of those games at a higher rate. They will sell more of them. But if they release all those,
you're being such a fucking
this is a legitimate.
Right
this is a legitimate business thing.
Oh my god, you're being an apologist big time.
The chances, if there's something that you know that you... Okay, let me ask you this.
All right, ask me.
If Mega Man X, Donkey Kong Country 3, Super Metroid, Legend of Zelda Link to the Past, and Super Mario Kart all came out on the same day, which ones would you buy?
Probably all of them, depending on the price.
Would you? I don't think you would.
Well, not Mario Kart. I mean, I don't really play Mario Kart. But
if all of these games were released 1 week apart,
let me put it to you this way. So,
do you not think that consumers, it would increase the chance of selling all of those games?
Well, I don't think you would. Let me tell you. Let me tell you this.
Please.
when I was in New York,
I don't want just your perspective. I want what you think the actual people will do. What you think normal consumers will do.
Okay, so this is a case like the fucking Bethesda review thing. Like, is it good for their business? Yes.
That's what I said.
Is it consumer friendly to fucking make me wait 6 months because
I said here's the Major Tom reason and here's the business reason. That's what I said. Here's Major Tom. Here's the business.
Well, I think both are fucking dumb as shit.
That's fair. You're allowed to think that.
Nah, yeah. Because listen, what you're doing is you're saying. I don't have enough discipline to play my game library, so I need Nintendo to limit me. Which, like, if that works for you, fine. That's fucking dumb, though. That's dumb to be excited for that reason.
I'm excited for the idea that I will now be spending more time with my launch games. That's what I'm excited for. I'm excited that I'm going to spend more time with the Faster Mark RMX. Because realistically...
I have to be putting Switch time out to really get
because
what
realistically, if Donkey Kong Country 2...
So I'm really happy Virtual Console isn't launching for the rest of the fucking world.
If Donkey Kong Country 2 is available on launch day, I will play nothing but Donkey Kong Country 2 on my Switch.
So what? The rest of the games will be there when you're done.
Okay.
Like, I get what you're saying. I'm not... And you're not stupid for being excited. It's just the idea, like your reasoning and the idea of like, what?
It makes sense though, right?
For you, maybe.
I think it makes sense for Nintendo.
And then the idea of like, okay, they need to stagger it.
Yep.
Sure, maybe. But once again, not consumer friendly. Like, that's not with the best interest of consumers. It's like, if you have, let's say Chrono Trigger, let's say they get the rights for that, lined up. Like, it's all good, but it's like, all right, we're gonna wait another additional 4 months to release this.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you. Like, maybe I want to play that now. Maybe it's because you don't have any fucking launch titles either. Now would be a great time for you to allow me to play that without having to emulate it. Or hook up my fucking Super Nintendo.
It would be more consumer friendly for them to do that, yes. Absolutely. But if you want to sell games, which is what they need to do, if they want to have people get excited constantly...
So you're saying the way that they need to sell games is not to have it available at launch at all?
I mean, yeah.
No, because every single swinging dick that buys a Switch, or swinging clit, whatever, man, I'm trying to be excluding anybody. Like, it's gonna buy Zelda.
Yeah.
Because that's the fucking game. That's the one.
Yep.
People who are of lesser intellect will buy 1-2 Switch.
I mean, I'm gonna get it. The funny thing is you're gonna play it.
Oh. Only because you're gonna fucking force me to. Because, like, I owe you one.
I won't force you to.
I owe you one for fucking the 3DS, and I don't think...
Oh, we're still playing Metroid Confederation.
Well, I bought the fucking thing. I hope so.
We're still playing Metroid.
I can't believe I spent money on that piece of shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, no, I see your reasons.
Yeah.
I don't like them. They're total fucking apologist reasons.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's
they
fair.
are.
That's fair.
I'm not gonna shit on you personally for them, because I get it. Like, I know you're willing to, like, yeah, for you, that's good. Yeah. That's a good thing. But
plus, dude, it keeps me in that eShop. Keeps me in the eShop. Bam, 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 bam. I go in the eShop, I'm like, oh shit, it's Thursday. They just released a bunch of new games.
Going to the eShop, spend my money.
Yeah.
I'm sure Liz will be thrilled about that every fucking Friday.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. That's why it works so well. Because when I slide $8 on the debit card, nothing. When I slide $800 on the debit card, she's like, WTF. Just slide the 8 in.
You've got a problem, my friend.
Won't even notice. You guys know what I'm talking about. Much easier to spend $10 a week than it is to spend $800 buying them all at once. Plus, again, it makes it an event. It's Prep Ape. It's topic worthy. We're like, bro, we just got the virtual console games.
No, we're not talking about that.
We just got the virtual console games that are launching in August.
We're not doing that on Prep Ape.
You can finally download Balloon Fight.
We're not doing that because you know what it's going to be.
You can finally download Balloon Fight.
You know what it's going to be? It's going to be fucking, guys, Mega Man X is but it's already been on the other ones for fucking like a year.
Dude, it's on everything.
We're not going to bring that to Prep Ape.
It's coming.
No, it's not. I'm going to have to start being like going through motherfucking no, we ain't talking about Mega Man X coming to Switch. It should have been there.
You should be so excited. They're releasing all the Castlevania games digitally for the Nintendo Switch on this date. How exciting is that?
It should have been there from the fucking beginning. If they had
That's what you're going to say.
If it's not about licensing, which it's fucking not, because for the other ones, they already have it.
Yep.
I'm just beating a dead horse at this point, and you're just being an apologist. Like, I'm beating the dead horse, and you're apologizing to everyone who's having to watch. And that's what the fuck's happening.
And that's why we're so perfect together. That's why we're just so goddamn perfect together.
No, I don't need anyone to apologize for me.
So perfect.
It's okay.
I agree with DKP 100%.
Sounds like a Nintendo apologist, Adify says. DKP ain't a Mario Kart. Shit, I'll buy them all at once. Switch timeout.
Gotta have that Switch timeout.
But aside from Mario, what is coming this year that you don't already own on Wii U?
Dude, I already have all these games on Wii U.
Your mom's box, how about that?
I already have all of them.
Yeah, and they're not going to transfer over, are they?
They'll probably discount them like they did with the Wii to Wii U.
Wait a minute. So, I would rather them just not discount them.
Okay.
In feign ignorance of, like, we have no way to track what you bought. Rather than, hey, we know you bought it.
They're all
already.
attached. Speaking of, have you set up your Nintendo Network account yet?
Yeah, I believe so, like a long time ago. Actually,
you should tie all your accounts to it.
Right when it got released, I snagged the username DKP.
Oh, nice.
I was like, fuck yeah.
Cool. So go on your Nintendo Switches and send DKP an invite.
It's kind of like, oh, hey, I didn't come to your birthday because I forgot. Like, that sucks. Like, I was busy. I sorry, I could slip my mind. Like, okay, that sucks. But when someone's like, yeah, and I just didn't fucking feel like it. You're lame. Like, it's like, oh, that's worse. I'd rather you just tell me you forgot.
Yeah.
That's the whole discount thing. Like, oh, we know you bought it. Probably for your second or third time in your lifetime.
Oh, dude, I bought Super Mario Brothers 3 probably 12 times.
Yeah, we know you did, but go and buy it again, would you? Like, at least just tell me that you don't know. Like, at least tell me, like, sorry, we have nowhere to track that. You're just going to buy it again. Like, this will be the last time, we promise. Rather than like, oh, nah, man. Yeah, we'll give you $2 off. $18.99.
So you'd rather pay the full price?
I would feel better paying full price.
Okay.
Rather than like...
Not very consumer friendly, but okay.
Them discounting it when they know you bought it.
That's more consumer friendly than not discounting it.
I'm just saying for my own personal psyche.
And that's where I'm at. All this stuff is my own personal psyche.
Separate fucking thing here.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
Dude, you are radiating apologies right now. And that's the one thing we don't do here.
No, like you are saying I'm not apologizing for feeling this way at all.
No, you're not.
I'm not apologizing for Nintendo.
You're apologizing for Nintendo. Yes, you fucking are.
No, I'm not. I think it's cool.
No, you fucking don't. And you know
I love it.
You do not think it's cool. You might think it's good for me.
It's good
but
for
in no way do you think it's cool.
It's good for me. This works out better for me. And that's great.
If fucking
and Nintendo.
If fucking consumers is cool, then consider Nintendo Miles Davis. Like, fuck you, man.
Fuck you, buddy.
Good to see you, man. Alright, let's hit the rest of the comments and we'll move. Like I said, we're beating a dead horse here. Yeah. If they sell more games, well, fuck, this was Zelda anyhow.
Thanks. This sounds more like Major Tom saying, thank you, Nintendo, for saving my relationship.
Yeah, perhaps. They want to sell more games, they give whales like you as many options as possible.
I mean, that's fair.
Was supposed to be on Wii U a while back, but delayed it for Switch release. Yep. One hope she notices slide 8. Wait, one hope she notices if you slide in 8 in Heyo. Am I fucked up and I'm just reading that wrong?
No, I don't get it either.
Okay. Alright, we good?
Yep.
Alright.
Nindies for good boy points.
No Nindies on my plate.
Alright, Nintendo has revealed. So they had a Nintendo Indies, they call it the Nindies event, where they announced 17 games coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Yep.
I went over a shitload of them today. We're just gonna go over the list. If you want to see me talk about each of these games, then go back and watch Good Morning Major Tom. Here's the list. SteamWorld Dig 2.
Basic question really quickly.
Yeah.
Where did you get the name Good Morning Major Tom from?
I was like, I need to name this morning show.
Yeah.
What should I name it? And I was like, it needs to be like
at any point
morning show.
Did you fucking liken it to rhyming with Good Morning Vietnam?
Of course, yeah, that was the point.
Okay, yeah, I didn't get that till today. So I was like,
the point.
All right, just making sure.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm the slow person. That's
I mean, no, not necessarily. I like, you sit there and you think about different things and you write some different ideas down. And I was like, the morning show with Major Tom. You started
going, Good Morning Major Tom.
I started like the pilot episode like that, and I was like, this is a bit, a bit ham-fisted.
I mean, I can record it and you can just play it. Okay. I'll do it for you.
Okay.
That way you don't feel weird.
I wanted to make, the box art has like that wing logo with with Robin Williams doing like this in front of the microphone. Like I wanted to recreate that logo, and I was like, I can't do any of this stuff. So let's just move on.
One of us needs to learn Photoshop.
Yeah.
Like I know Premiere, but neither one of us know how to shoot things.
Nope.
All right.
Okay. So here's the list.
1 second.
Steamroll Dig 2.
You keep going. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
Just gotta poop, fellas. Steamroll Dig 2. Ukulele. Overcooked Special Edition. The Escapists 2. Goner. Dandara. Kingdom 2 Crowns. Runner 3, which is like Bit Trip Runner. Blaster Master 0. Flipping Death. Graceful Explosion Machine. Mr. Shifty. Tumbleweed. Tumbleseed. Shakedown Hawaii. Pocket Rumble. War Groove. And Stardew Valley. Can make that logo, Major T. The show is only going to go on for a month. I don't know if it's worth the effort. Blaster Master, baby. Yeah, I'm very excited about that. So SteamWorld Dig, if you guys haven't played that, a lot of fun. It's like Minecraft, Metroidvania style game. It plays incredibly well. Ukulele is the Banjo-Kazooie type game. We've played Overcooked on stream before. It's a fucking blast. Escapist never played. Goner looks kind of cool. Dandara looks really neat. It's made by the guys who make Towerfall Ascension. Kingdom 2 Crowns has an interesting 8-bit art style, but it's a what's it called? Tower defense. So not really feeling that 100%. Runner 3 is the Bit Trip Runner games, if you played any of those. Blaster Master Zero coming exclusively to Switch and 3DS. Flipping Death has a Tim Burton-esque art style, looks a little silly and cartoony, kind of reminds me of Tim Burton mixed with who are the guys that do all those adventure games?
Double Fine?
Double Fine, thank you.
Yeah, that's when I saw the trailer, I thought it was very reminiscent of Double Fine.
Yeah. Mr. Shifty, did you see the trailer for Mr. Shifty?
I did.
That reminded me of something that you would real get a kick out of.
I'm not a huge fan of the art style because like it looks like a lot of the enemies, because it's like cell shaded to some degree, blend into the environment.
Okay, I can see that.
But it's a weird thing because like let's elaborate a little bit more before we go on about it. It's basically like a.
It's like Hotline Miami.
Remember how when Doom first came out, any game after that, first person was called
Wolfenstein
Doom
looked
clone.
like Doom. And
Same
Doom.
thing with like Souls games are their entire like new genre of games, but for a while, still today they're gonna be called Souls clones or whatever, like Neo. I figure like Hotline Miami's gonna have the same thing, but to a smaller degree. So I don't want to call it a Hotline Miami clone. It's inspired by, obviously, because the music is very much there. I just hope that it doesn't feel like a watered down version. What
I like is what kind of makes it unique is that he has that dash move.
Yeah.
It's like a short little teleport where he can dash around.
So
but he can teleport through walls.
Isometric, top down.
We should just pull up a trailer real quick. Go black on this.
All right. Well, continue on the list, and I'll pull.
I've already gone through the list. I'm just kind of reading through it. Tumbleseed is a game where you have the pad, you like tilt it like this, and there's a ball that you have to get from one point to another by tilting it. So it reminds me of Plinko from, are you familiar with Plinko and Price is Right, where they like drop the puck, and it goes down. It looks like that, except you're going the opposite way, and you have to tilt something to like make it go around obstacles. Looks pretty interesting. Shakedown Hawaii is made by the guys who made,
which is funny because like that, like clearly the name is inspired by Hotline Miami, but the game doesn't really look that way. You're telling me Shakedown Hawaii?
It's a Retro City Rampage sequel.
But the name though, Shakedown Hawaii, Hotline Miami, like But like that was the one I expected to be because we had a chat where someone mentioned like a game that looked like Hotline Miami.
Yeah,
and that's the one I looked at first because
Mr. Shifty,
the name,
of course.
But
Shifty, sorry.
So here's the trailer for Mr. Shifty, real quick.
Switch clips
down a little bit. But yeah, like music is on point, but I just hope it doesn't feel like a cheap, like a watered down version of it. If that makes sense. Either with the music or with like. This is the other thing, the violence.
It has to feel good to play, because that's what makes one of the things that makes Hotline Miami so great is how good it feels to play.
And this song specifically sounds a lot like Roller Mobster from Carpenter Brew, which is one of the, like, I'm going to call them premier songs in Hotline Miami. I don't want to call it that, but probably the most well-known song from
18
that
stages, 140 levels.
Yeah, and that too is like...
Scary.
Yeah.
Quality over quantity kind of concerns.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean...
Bevis is not sure I like the cell shading.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I feel like a lot of these enemies will just, like, blend into the environment, you know?
Yeah, I can see that. I think it looks dope as fuck. Comes out in April.
I'm definitely going to give it a shot.
Yeah. So yeah, Nintendo's getting a lot of independent games, which I know, like, independent games aren't what people primarily want for their console, but like having the option, having the ability to take, I think that's one of Vita's like best qualities, is being able to play indie games on the go. So, top-down Nightcrawler. Oh yeah, it's a good call out. It does reminds me of Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. You ready to move on?
I believe so. Yep.
All right. See it. Somebody hit me with an exclamation point EA.
And also, I used to work at Electronic Arts, no longer do.
So you'll have a Peter Moore story.
I have a couple.
Yeah.
But
so
also, I guess take what I say with a grain of salt. I mean, I don't really...
I don't
just
know.
do it
You don't work
anyways.
there. Yeah, just take what we say with a grain of salt. Yeah. Thank you for the exclamation point EA. So I'm going to read the article from IGN first, and then we're just going to talk a little bit about our boy Petey. This is from Lucy O'Brien. Lucy... What?
Petey.
Our boy old Petey.
All right.
Peter Moore is leaving EA to become the CEO of Liverpool Football Club. This from Lucy O'Brien. She says, Peter Moore is leaving his role as Chief Competition Officer at EA to become the CEO of Liverpool Football Club. The news broke in a press release posted on Liverpool FC's website. Moore will take up his new role in June and will be reporting directly to the club's owners. The 61-year-old is currently Chief Competition Officer at Electronic Arts based in the U.S. and will move to Liverpool to join the club in the summer. His nearly 10 years at EA have seen him in a number of leadership positions, including Chief Operating Officer and President of EA Sports. Andrew Wilson says, passion is essential for us at Electronic Arts. He's the CEO. He says, it's what gets us up in the morning and drives us to do extraordinary things. And if you've ever met Peter Moore, you know that he quite literally wears his passion for Liverpool FC on his sleeve. So it's with great excitement that we congratulate Peter on following his dreams.
I didn't know. I mean, I knew he was leaving to, manage a football team. Didn't know it was like his team.
His team. Yeah.
His. Oh wow, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. His favorite team growing up. There are interviews. There's an interview that IGN did. It's called Unfiltered. So if you want to look this up, with Peter Moore, where the very first question
is
they
it
asked
video?
him is,
Like
yeah,
audio?
it's a video interview.
That's cool. Yeah,
yeah, it's really good. It's like an hour long. It's super, super interesting. First question he asked him is, what did young Peter Moore dream of being when he grew up? He said, wanted to play for Liverpool. My dream has always been to play for the Liverpool Football Club. And he talks about how that kind of helped him transition into his future. I think don't quote me on this, but I think he had an injury or something, so he ended up becoming a coach. So went to college, became a coach, started taking a lot of business classes, got a business degree, and started working for Reebok. Worked for Reebok for several years before he transitioned into working at Dreamcast, working for Sega with the Dreamcast. He transitioned from there to Microsoft, transitioned from there to EA. So yeah, he's an industry icon. He is.
And also, like, I'll say this, like, say what you will about EA, love him or hate him. Like, I know there's, like, conflict or whatever. Peter Moore was never part of any problem that anybody ever had with. He was always like, in my experience with him, like internally, just like seeing him respond to stuff, and also meeting him, like by far the most like grounded of the C team, the most personable that I ever personally met.
And I think that anybody who works there will tell you that exact same thing. And I'll go into a couple more details on that. Yeah, I guess now's a good
It's
time.
like love or hate, like Peter Moore's awesome.
Yeah,
he was fucking. He's really.
I guess we'll just talk about like some personal experiences or stories, because a lot of what I'm about to say matches what you just said. Like, whenever our site opened and we all first started coming in there, he's probably been to the EA office like 6 or 7 times. He probably comes once a year or so, and just visits, and he does a Q&A, and he like sits and listens to calls and stuff like that. He interacts with everybody, and that's the big thing, is he is so incredibly personable. I had this like weird nervous fear of celebrity types, and even celebrity types in video games.
Well, it's a double whammy when you work there, because it's like celebrity types. Like you saw him with the Dreamcast. Like we knew him before then.
Yep.
And then also like he has your ass. Like this is a member of the C team. Like CFO, all that. Yeah. Like yeah, it's very much like a oh shit. Like
yeah.
I don't know exactly how easily he could have me fired if he said, it's that thing where it's like, this person owns my ass.
Yeah.
And you know him as, as someone who's a fan of gaming and, history, all that. So,
yeah.
It's kind of double.
It is, absolutely.
Meeting while
like,
working there.
Even, I've met I've met the Easy Allies guys. I was so nervous meeting. So nervous. I'm walking up and I'm like, I'm really nervous meeting you. I'm sorry.
At least they can't fire you, though.
Yeah, exactly. So I get nervous around all those types. First time I ever met Peter Moore, I was super nervous. But like within like 30 seconds, the easiest person at EA to talk to, hands down. Like every single person that we even work with in our office, he's easier to talk to than all of them. Like he is so easy to approach and ask questions to. He always has really like honest and sincere and personable answers for you. One of the first times he came to visit, I was one of the few people who knew him from his like Sega days and Xbox days and stuff like that in terms of the management team. So they had me involved in a session where we brought a bunch of phone advisors in to talk to him. They had me be the manager for that session. They had me in the round table that included a bunch of members of management and something he always does is he likes to listen to calls. So they had him come and sit with like my team to listen to calls. So there was a day where I basically got to spend the entire day like with him throughout all these different moments, and the entire time
he's just your Dreamcast, didn't you?
Yeah, yep, absolutely.
If he comes back again before he leaves, I have to give you mine, by the way.
Yeah,
but anyways,
so he just like. That was actually, so in the round table that we got to have with the agents, everybody was asking him questions, and he was like, anybody have any questions? And nobody said anything, and I was like, you mind if I ask you a question about Sega? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I asked him about what his experience at Sega was like, and what was the experience like of being the person who, like, because he's the person famously or infamously that called all the studios to say the Dreamcast was dead. Like, he got the call from the president of Sega and was like, hey, I need you to let everybody know that we're shutting down.
Oh, my
So he's the one that had to, like, break the news to every single member of Sega.
You know how, like, you talk to any manager, or most managers, and they're like, people that aren't in management are like, I would love to fire somebody.
No, it is
but, like,
worst,
most people that you talk to who are in management, they're like, oh, that's the worst part of, like, having to fire people. Yeah. Having to like break people's soul, like, hey, you're fucking unemployed.
Especially like,
imagine getting that fucking call.
Yeah.
Like, hey, entire sites are about to be shut down.
Like the manufacturing plants and all of the development studios and all the hardware people and like everything, like all the R&D development for the next Sega, like everything. Oof. I cannot imagine how difficult that was. But he talked freely about it, and he's just super easy to talk to. He's super funny. Somebody mentioned how he's savage on Twitter. He is so
that was like I said, like when I said he's the most like real ground, like listen, like I worked at EA for like 6 years or 5 years, and you don't agree with every interaction with people that don't work there.
Well, it's a job.
Yeah. And you deal with people that don't work there, and you don't agree with every interaction how they feel about things. And some people are like, okay, internally you're like, just fucking get over it. It's not a big deal. Like, in the
job you would never like.
It's like out of 1 million FIFA coins, you got 999,999. Like, it's really a non-issue. But to see a CEO be like, oh no, yeah, I know, or a CFO I think, or whatever was like, kind of have that same approach with like, look, you need to put this in perspective, and kind of like square people away like that. It was. Some people might consider that not consumer friendly, but it was almost a breath of fresh air from the corporate environment of like people having to measure themselves.
He's politely savage about it, though.
Yeah,
he is very polite, and he's like, I appreciate what you're saying here, but like cursing at someone, cursing and saying that these people are a bunch of idiots is like not going to be the most successful. He just finds this like really clever and weird
whatever example you're going to give isn't the real example, and hit the real ones that were like way more savage and cool. Yeah, but because I remember when that was happening, I was reading it and people were like upset about it, and I was like, no, it's fucking awesome. Yeah. Like to have like a, I mean, well, was gonna say he was like the Trump of the video game industry. Of like, can you believe this guy's actually just talking to people this way?
Yeah.
Like a regular person. Now keep the comparison at that.
Yeah.
Let's not pretend this into a political thing, but just like, wow, yeah, I didn't expect that from a member of a corporate team. Okay. All right.
Paints and Pebble were talking about one of my favorite things, like types of interactions. You know, sometimes you'd get one of those emails that goes out to the entire company, and then somebody would reply to that email, reply all to it when they shouldn't have, and then somebody else will reply all to it, and this thread will just be going on where it's like every person, all 10,000 employees of Electronic Arts are getting like responses to this, and then all of a sudden Peter Moore responds with a meme. It's like, I don't always reply.
I know the exact time.
I don't always reply, but when I do, I reply to every single person.
I was working there when
he's done that. Like he does it constantly. Anytime that somebody does a like that, he's always the person that shuts it down, and he shuts it down in the funniest way.
I want to say, like, for anyone who doesn't understand, like,
what up, Texas boy?
Kind of what we're doing, I guess. Like, this isn't just to like suck Peter Moore's dick. Because like we met him personally, whatever. Like he has been around the video game industry for a long time. Yeah. He was the guy that fucking had the tattoo of
he had
Halo 2. Or
he had the Halo tattoo.
You guys remember that? Like,
sleeve. Or he was the person that announced when Grand Theft Auto was no longer going to be a PlayStation exclusive. It was coming to Xbox.
He's worked for so many different large and influential video game companies and been at so many like unveiling and events. To where he is an icon, and he is literally leaving the industry. So that's why we're talking about this, not just like, hey, we met him a couple times where you're sucking his dick. Like, yeah, it's about that specifically, like the fact that he's leaving video games.
But there is,
which is what makes this kind of important.
It's and it's, you know, personally speaking, it's a little bittersweet to see him go. But there is like nothing more magical.
No, that's when you came in, I was like, that's a bummer to hear about fucking Peter, and you were like, yeah, but I'm excited. And I was like, well, sure, but. He was fucking like what you said, which was like when we had the grand unveiling of the new Austin Center event. He came down, came up to him and like he was like, "Hey, nice to meet you, whatever." Right? And unlike 90% of people who were that far up, he was like, "Oh, let me get you a beer. Tell me about you. What do you like?" And I was like,
he's asking about what.
Well, I work on the process, or whatever. And he's like, no, about you, like. And he just wanted to know about, you know, it's that sort of thing. Plus, if we're telling one more funny story,
please.
You guys remember when he was on South Park?
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't remember,
he's talked about that before at work too.
No, he didn't. When I asked him about it in an all hands meeting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were there for that, but you had to have been.
Yeah.
Anyways. For anyone who doesn't remember, Peter Moore was featured on the Crack Baby Basketball episode of South Park. And the way that they had him talk, which... here's the weird thing. Remember how, like, Madonna is American, but went over and married Guy Ritchie and then came back and was like, "Hello, Governor. I'm Madonna. Oh, I've been in Great Britain for 6 weeks. The accent seems to be dripping through." Right? And it's like, fucking stop. Like, he grew up in England. He's English, but, like, he almost sounds like he wanted to, like, get a Brooklyn accent at some point.
On the show?
No, in real life.
Okay.
Listen to him. He doesn't really sound like he's from England. Kind of like Gordon Ramsay ditched a Scottish accent and is now pretending to be English. But it's kind of the same way. He's like, well, it's kind of a weird circumstance, but it's this weird accent that he does. But on the show, his fucking line is, "Well, now I'll leave you with that good old EA saying, get the fuck out my building." Right? And they just had him being a dick on the show. But I remember he came down for an event and was doing Q&A, like in an all hands meeting. And I remember, like, I desperately wanted to ask, so I finally like raised my hand. He's like, "Oh yeah." And I was like, "Can you talk about when you were on South Park?" And he was like, "Oh shit." And that was the thing too. Like, he would curse and drink and stuff too.
Yeah.
Like, not in like a HR
very
sort of
human
way, but yeah. But he was like,
that's one of our like leadership competencies is like be human first, and he like nails it.
But his answer was, he was like, "Yeah, so I was asleep about 11 o'clock. So, and my son called and was like, 'Dad, you're on South Park.' And I was like, 'Oh shit.' And then I went back to bed." But Matt and Trey were nice enough to send me the original storyboards, and I got them hanging in my house now. and he was like, "Yeah, I was completely fine with it," even though they painted him like an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of have to be, when you're at that level. But yeah, I'm like personally and professionally, and then just like from an icon perspective, I'm so happy that like this is his dream job. I mean, his dream as a kid was to play for Liverpool FC. You get to a point in your career where your life, I guess, where you're like, yeah, I'm not going to be an athlete. I'm not going to be a professional athlete for my life. So I got to figure something else out. So this is like the best possible option for him for his career. So like, sincerely for me and Chainsaw and all of us, like, congratulations, Peter Moore.
Bon voyage, sir.
Yeah. It has been a legitimate, absolute honor.
Please come back to Austin before you quit, so Tommy can have you sign my Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Because I want the same. I want that too. But apart from that, best of luck to him.
Yep.
And
all right, we'll stop. Like,
hope Liverpool does
stop sounding like a bunch of fucking chubs.
Well, I mean, like, let's just be honest. Like, when there's somebody who is way fucking above you, not only on a social status, but professional status, especially in the industry, which like you're most passionate about, considering we have this whole fucking thing, right? But he's actually not a piece of shit. He's actually very personable. It's a pretty rare thing. So yeah, I don't mean to be little schoolgirls about it, but it's kind of a rarity.
For sure.
So yeah. So good luck, Peter Moore. And we can move on.
All right, we're going to talk about the Video Game History Foundation. So I got an article from GameSpot we're going to read from Chris Pereira.
They would hire someone named Chris Pereira.
Quote, nonprofit group the Video Game History Foundation today launched a crowdfunding campaign to help support its overarching goal, preserve the history of the video game industry. As detailed on its Patreon page, it explains that it's dedicated to figuring out how to save as much video game history as we can and make it accessible to everyone. Our goal is to make sure that storytellers have what they need to be able to tell the story of video games, and we're already working through a tremendous backlog of incredible material. The initiative is headed up by Frank Gafaldi, who previously worked in the games press, and as a developer, he also found the website Lost Levels in 2003, which catalogs information about unreleased games. Arby's Corp says, watching on mobile, no ad block. Here's your movie money, you monkeys.
What up, Mr. Arby's Corp?
Man, I wish we got some money from this.
How's that Bronco Berry sauce treat? We do not get ad revenue for anything.
I don't think we have earned a single dime through Chainsaw 8.
Not in the green.
Yeah,
not in the black, at least.
In the video above, Gafaldi lays out some of why this is important. He says, quote, we believe that video games are more than just playable code. It's the ephemeral. It's the ephemeral material that was produced around it. It's the marketing, it's the stories. And all of these things are in danger of disappearing unless we actually go out and find it and make sure it's safe. He notes that the VGHF is starting off small, but the future, he suggests, the possibility of opening up a library, working with museums, helping developers ensure their code is kept secure long term. He said, being an historian myself, laptop's close to dying, I know the kinds of materials that historians rely on to tell stories, so that's what we're focusing on right now. Gathering, digitizing, and making available video game artifacts to whoever want to access it. If you're a historian, this means a wealth of material to work with. If you're not a historian, that means lots of cool old video game stuff to look at and play with. We're hoping that this is merely the humble start to what will become a larger organization. I want to grow the foundation into something that lives well beyond my lifetime and affects some real change in the way that the industry treats its past.
So once again, where is this located? Or based out of?
I believe they're in New York. I believe. I could be wrong. It may be in LA or San Fran or something. Finally, video games matter. We want to make sure that their roots are never forgotten. I'm doing this with or without you.
All forms of media matter. All forms of media matter. Okay.
This is my job for the rest of my life. But the more help I'm able to get now, the more we can accomplish. So, not in an effort to be like, hey, go fund this Patreon, but we've talked about this before, which is the importance of video game preservation.
Especially in regards to how things are going digital.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to preserve shit if these servers are not available for you to download, and if there's authentication.
We talked about ROMs and emulators and being able to emulate old games and how important that kind of stuff is. But this kind of takes it a step further of not just the games themselves, but the history, the story involved with them. I think something that's unique to video games over other forms of media is, at least for the last 100 years or so, and going back depending on the form of media, you can find books from hundreds of years ago. You can find films from the last 100 years. You can find television from the last 80 years. You can find all of these different things available to you. But if you want to
there are very, very, very few films that are like documented that are lost
For
that
sure.
you cannot find anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's probably in like the single digits.
Yeah.
Like the first recording of Dracula, like on film, is lost. It was a Russian one. Like that's about it. Like
At least that we're aware of. I'm sure there's probably way more.
that are documented to have been made, but are just no one has them.
For sure. And if
Almost
you
non-existent.
think about things like one of the very first times I ever bought like a collection of TV shows on VHS was the Twilight Zone. They released all the Twilight Zone on VHS. Right. And there was probably, I think it was like 4 or 5 episodes per tape. So I had like 40 or 50 tapes. And then they came out on DVD in a box set, and I bought them on DVD. And then they came out on Blu-ray. It's like one of the few Blu-ray sets I still have is all the episodes of Twilight Zone. And Twilight Zone is every available medium. The next big thing, like you can get them digitally. Whatever the next big medium is, as far as televisions is
that's
concerned,
an example of preservation
it's available.
right there. Easy.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's like all of that stuff is available. No matter which generation you're in, they're re-releasing that stuff for that generation. And we get things like remasters. We get things like new versions of games being released throughout the generations. We get that stuff, but it's not as frequent and not as common due to things like...
All right, example. It's really great that we got Resident Evil remade again, and on PC. Which, like, if it's on PC, it's somewhere playable to where you can download it from any... Worst comes to worst, you can pirate a fucking copy. Like, if the world died. Whatever. You know what I mean? Like, if it's on that, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, you don't gotta worry about getting a physical copy or downloading it from fucking whatever servers. Somebody has it ripped somewhere. Unfortunately, though, I mean, it's great that Remake got that, but what about Outbreak? I was watching a speedrun of that last night, and I was like, you know what? I never think I gave that game a real shot.
It's great, man.
Unfortunately, it's almost fucking unplayable now.
Yeah.
It's nowhere.
There was a Zelda game that was only released in Japan, and the way it was released was, it was something that you downloaded from your, like, television. You downloaded it, it was like satellite signal given to you.
Oh, yeah. No, that was Sonic or Mega Man was one of those two from the Sega channel.
Yeah, there was, well, that wasn't, I mean, Zelda did that as well. But there are these versions of games that were only released through, like, a satellite service.
I didn't know Zelda had one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was something that was, like, basically in beta that never took off.
Yep.
Select few people got to play it.
Yep.
And then after that, like, that is an example of, like, a lost game. Like, they don't even have emulators for them.
And
some of those.
That is the type of thing that the Video Game History Foundation is going to, like, specialize in. Is being able to find some form of version of it available, find people who've played it, find stories, and build information around it.
But the problem is, like, they said they want to make it accessible.
Yeah.
How the fuck are you going to do that?
I don't think that they'll, with a game like that, I don't think they'll be able to get a playable build of it.
Well, no,
it's possible.
I mean, like, for games that, like, okay, let's say they do acquire a playable build of it.
Oh, do you mean in context of them, like, re-releasing stuff?
No, I mean, like, when they say make it accessible to people so they can experience it. How the fuck?
I don't mean
with
that
licensing and all that, like, how in any way can you do that?
I don't think that means that you're going to be able to buy it or play it.
Well, that maybe play it, like...
No, I think it may mean that you get to go to a museum and see what a version of it looked like. I think it may mean that we get a documentary that shows a playable version of it.
Right, but that's the thing. Okay, so maybe a documentary, but, like, that's the thing that, like... I went to the Natural History Museum when I was in New York. Bunch of shit. It was all there to look at, to see, hey, this is a fucking tampon from, like, the fucking 1600s. Of course, it's made out of fucking blades and leeches. Cool. You know, like
there's a story along with it.
Well, yeah.
But you didn't get to use the tampon.
No, but I got to, like, at least look at it. I don't need to use it to fucking go, oh, wow. Why would you make it out of blades and leeches? But, you know, with this, it's like, okay, you're talking about something that physically doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
Talking about code. So, what are they going to do? Show me a floppy? Like, that's not, hey, there it is. Yes. Like, it's just a weird concept, and I'm not shitting on the idea. This is a great idea. Like, even if they can't distribute it, having it just to make sure it's preserved is good. But as far as, like, being able to show it, in what way can you do that with something that's not physical? Without having it either playable, or unless, I guess, like you said, they release like a YouTube channel with documentaries or demos of it.
I think that they have to find like builds of it, or they have to find video footage recorded of it.
So if you find video recording footage of it, that considers preservation?
I mean, I would consider that.
I'm not shitting on this. I'm just trying to figure it out.
No, for sure. Absolutely. You're asking the right questions.
I'm asking the questions that I would use, the same questions I would use to shit on something, but that's not
as an example, like the Zelda thing is something that you did not know existed. I didn't know it existed 3 or 4 years ago, but I just like heard about it randomly.
Right.
Throughout I've like read magazine articles about it and stuff. I've seen different pieces of information, but I don't really know what it looks like. I just know that it exists. I know that it was on the original Legend of Zelda engine, all that kind of stuff. But like, this would allow you to potentially walk into a museum or watch a documentary that shows the game off and how it worked and what nights it was available. And it just, from a history, similar to how you learned about the Leech razor blade ridden tampon, you would then learn about this Zelda thing.
That was real, by the way. Look it up. Go on.
You would then, that's what I'm saying. That's how you would find out more information about it. It would just become not only something that you can find out there, like you can research, but these guys are going to do all the work for us. They're going to find games that didn't exist, that were never finished, or games that were finished. Kind of similar to what you were talking about with that Doomed, the Fantastic Four thing.
Yeah.
It's imagine Doomed, but a video game version of Doom.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. I'm just like, what I'm asking is like, I don't want to use the term logistically. Because that's not what I mean exactly. But that doesn't fit this scenario. But, like, I don't know what other term to describe it. Like, is it not going to be, like, a physical place you can go?
I think it will be. Yeah, it just depends.
Then how are you going to do any of this?
What do you mean?
All right. Do you understand, like, what you would have... Okay, how many fucking, like, lost, preserved, whatever, like, that you could display? Mm-hmm. You'd have to have a screen or something for each one.
But that's where something like the documentary would come into play.
So if it wasn't a physical place for you to go, and it was just information about these uploaded like by curated videos and all that, that's different. And then that's one thing.
It's part, but that's part of what the Video Game History Foundation is doing.
But at the same time, it's like, okay, if you're just uploading videos and shit about it, then what's the point of having this foundation? Like, there are people
What's
already...
the point of having that museum where you can go see razor blades and leeches?
Because you can go see them physically.
Yeah, but why would you want to see it physically?
They exist.
But why is that interesting to you? Why is it interesting to see it?
But if you can't see it...
I'm asking you, I want you to answer, why is it interesting to see it?
Because I didn't have anything else to do in New York. That's why.
Because what's interesting about it isn't necessarily the act of seeing it as much as it is the act of learning about it. It's the act of learning about something.
Right. So, like a foundation. Like, dude, there are YouTube channels right now. And once again, I want to go back and say, I'm not shitting on this.
For sure.
I think this is necessary and a great idea.
Absolutely. Especially if you're interested.
I'm just trying to figure it out in what it does differently and where its merits are.
It's going to go everywhere. What's that really rare game, the NES Championship thing?
Nintendo World Championship.
Yeah, they're going to have a copy of that. So if they do a traveling road show, then you could go and see that game physically. So it's all right. But it's going to have like tons of branches to it.
No, whatever. Like, I great idea. I just, until we know more about how they're going to do it, that's all the questions that I have. Just how they're going to do it.
So what does it matter how they show off?
Because I'm interested.
No,
I'm not trying to...
I know, but is there a bad way to do it and a good way to do it?
No, I'm just interested. Like, if you're saying, like, well, we have all these unreleased games.
Yeah.
Well, how are you going to show those to me? Is it just videos? Well, if so, like, why would you need a foundation for that? If that's all you're planning on doing. If you're going to be doing, like, traveling road shows where I can, like, watch the video before I go see it and then see the floppy disk it came on, that's different, too. But, like, where this differs big time is that most of what they have to show doesn't exist in a physical medium. It's data. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's where it's like, that's where I'm interested in being like, well, how are they going to do this? How are they going to make this without basically having to have a complimentary YouTube channel or somewhere you can just watch, or read about them? Then how are they going to show these in a way that like a bladed tampon's a bladed tampon? You go, everything about it is right there. If you just have a collection of floppy disks and you're like, oh, you see that one? That's I don't think that's the way they do it, so that's why I'm curious as to how.
But that's like being like, hey, like when I'm talking about preserving films, if it's like, go check out this museum where there's a stack of movie reels. Well, the movie reels themselves aren't interesting.
No, they don't do that. They usually re-release them,
and that's yes.
But the studios independently release them. You more than anybody, well, not more than anybody. You as much as anybody here knows, like, video games, like, with licensing, do not like releasing their shit unless they do it. You know what I mean?
For sure, and a lot of times the licensing, depending on the licensing, it makes it completely impossible.
Yeah, and as far as, like, public domain, basically won't exist here soon. Like, so that's why I'm just like, I'm asking these questions not to shit on the idea.
For sure.
This is a museum that shows shit that doesn't physically exist.
But this isn't a museum. This is a foundation.
But okay,
museums are a part of what they plan to do. The foundation, the goal of the foundation is to preserve the history of video games.
Okay, fair enough.
That's the whole purpose of what they're trying to accomplish. The ways by which they do it are going to alter.
They'll have the warehouse in Indiana Jones.
Yeah, they may have a warehouse in Indiana Jones.
They may have a warehouse in Indiana Jones. Yeah, maybe.
They may do that. But they may also have a traveling roadshow. They may have YouTube videos. They may have, I don't know, articles and information. But
I have to keep stressing, like, the questions in the way that I'm approaching this is like I'm shitting on the idea, and I want to stress heavily I'm not. It's just, I'm curious, and I can't visualize how this is going to work. Okay,
yeah.
The Indiana Jones thing where it's like, okay, maybe they're not to be shown off, that I can buy. That I fully understand.
Yeah.
But it's the weird process of having a show and tell, whether it be museum or whatever they have, with something that doesn't exist. Not in the format in which, you see what I'm saying?
No. Like, okay. I think what you're doing is looking at it very narrowly.
Probably.
Of saying, this, I don't understand, because if I want to go look at something, I need something to go look at physically. And this isn't fascinating. I
was definitely thinking more of the in-person aspect of it. Like,
okay, terrific.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
This is the conversation that got us to follow.
I can't believe that.
That's good shit.
But yeah, okay. We'll wait and see.
I mean,
this is brand new. They have
I challenge you to check out the Patreon. To go check out their Patreon.
I'll probably
page.
fucking donate to it.
Cool.
Preservation of video games is very important.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I will do that.
Right here says, I agree. I don't really care much about this. I don't think. Not too bothered by games that didn't make it. Yeah, I think it covers a wide array of things. The games that made it, games that didn't make it. It's more about the history aspect of it. The people who tried to settle the continental U.S. before Christopher Columbus, not super interesting because they didn't make it. But it's still a part of history.
Well, I do think we should preserve them in a museum of those people.
The story of them, what is it that history is made by men who won the wars? I know I'm getting that quote way wrong, but like, history is basically the people who win wars are the ones who say who like create history.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that. The successful games are going to be the ones that form the primary history. And they are going to be touching on a lot of that, but they're also going to be touching on the ones who lost, the ones that didn't make it, the unsuccessful games. And I think unsuccessful. Oh, DKP, take your shirt off. Says hi, boys. That's the follow we got.
Oh, you followed the wrong place, but we've been over this. It's chatterbait.com/chainsaw. Okay.
History is written by the victors.
Thank
you very much. That's what it is. So
Churchill.
Yeah. Oh, Winston Churchill.
No, Churchill, baby.
Churchill.
Not Churchill.
Churchill.
It's about that Churchill.
Right here says traveling roadshow, never going to happen with that much hardware. It's all in context. right here, I think you're in a similar spot of DKP of like not quite understanding what this is. This is going to tackle many different facets. It's going to tackle different avenues by which to.
How about this? How about next week on Prep Ape, we go down a little bit granular list just for one topic for what they want to do, like from the Patreon, from the public info they put out.
Yeah, we'll open up the
because this is like a hard, particular like subject. It's new as far as what they're doing, and as far as how they're going to do it. Kind of hard to grasp for me a little bit.
For sure. I mean, we can open up the Patreon video.
Let's just do it next week.
Okay.
Like we'll outline points and just kind of go over in a broader scope of like what they're gonna.
I challenge everyone to go check out the Patreon
because we are running a little long.
Just watch that video because my guess is that'll answer the majority of the questions that you guys have.
Fantastic.
That's not true in this regard, Majesty. History is written by everyone. This entire industry developed after the printing press. Absolutely. But what you were saying is that you don't really care about the ones who didn't make it. They didn't make it, so they're not that important. And what that statement is about agreeing with you that history is written by the victors. And I actually think that it's the unwritten history that's more interesting. The games that didn't make it is super interesting. The idea of what Star Wars 1313 is. The idea of PT and Silent Hills, I think all of that stuff is super fascinating.
Well, it's going to be to each their own. Single failed game. That's gonna make it into the. I guess
yeah,
the
of course.
Is. But there are ones that were like very important or monumental in some way or another, like 1313 or PT or things like you could say that the what is it, Nintendo PlayStation didn't exist, didn't make it. That's still a huge part of history though.
For sure.
Fucking really important.
Absolutely.
So there's that.
Yeah. I mean, it completely changed the course of video games. And I think that that's what's interesting. And realistically, I think this foundation is all about telling the stories for people that want to hear them. So it's not like I can't just Google any game and get a snippet of its history, but I can still find out about all the losers. I can go look up articles written on 1313. Absolutely. Absolutely you can. But I think this Video Game History Foundation is about taking all of that and putting it in one place together. It's about taking information about lost games. It's about restoring old games.
Well, the Nintendo PlayStation does exist. There's one prototype. And I would assume that they eventually will get their hands on it. Maybe it'll be donated or bought.
For sure.
Or maybe
I remember when the screenshots released for that, when they were released pictures of it. I was like, what?
Yeah.
It's all a Google away. Absolutely. For sure. I completely agree. But everything is a Google away. And this particular foundation is about restoring that and not only telling us all of those stories in a concise way, but it's also about telling us the stories that we don't know about. It's about telling us the stuff that is super fascinating that they may be able to get information on based on their, what they're setting out to do versus what we're able to find and research. They may be able to get the story about what happened to Kojima and Konami. Not saying that they will. I'm just saying something like this has the potential to give us tons of information about the games industry. So this foundation is just a cache of Google searches. Yes, that's what it is.
Oh.
It's a cache of Google searches.
All right, you know what? How about this? Me and right here will check out the Patreon after this, much like many of you should do.
Yep.
And take it from there.
Sounds good.
Apart from that, I think we should move on.
Sounds good.
All right. This is our last topic, is it not?
Yeah. Computer just died. So I don't have the list in front of me anymore. But that's okay, because I remember the number.
Okay.
Okay, so there's going to be some...
Before we tackle this, one of the little boys, and if you little boys, you go on, I can hear you. Okay. I'm ready to hit this hard when we come back.
Sounds good. So there's opinion here, but there's also going to be a lot of subjectivity, I'm going to base the facts and include opinions into it. Which I guess that's what we do anyway here. So the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One are always competing for each other, as I guess the Nintendo Switch is now. Everybody is always trying to compete, and one of the things that you could say helps or hurts, or I guess most people would say it helps a console's library, is to have exclusive titles, regardless of how you feel about how that impacts the industry. Because realistically, it can be considered kind of harmful that you can only play certain things on certain platforms. It's like saying that you can only watch Happy Gilmore on Sony Blu-ray players, and it doesn't work on any other Blu-ray player. It could potentially be considered harmful. But specifically in 2017, Sony has been absolutely killing it with their list of exclusives. And from what it looks like is they're just getting started. So what I did was, when I was with DKP, and I don't have the list in front of me anymore because the laptop died, but I found a list of every exclusive coming for PlayStation 4, every exclusive coming for Xbox One, and every exclusive coming for Nintendo Switch. Now, to be fair to all three of these platforms, we're in March. So we still have 9 more months of announcements and release. A lot of games get announced and released within the same year. It happens a lot. So you don't want to count any of these guys out. You don't want to count Microsoft out. You don't want to count Nintendo out. Because I'm sure there's a lot of stuff coming in the pipeline. And I think Microsoft's approach right now, especially with Sony and Nintendo having so many of their cards on the table, is that that's kind of a unique position that Microsoft is in, is that their cards are not on the table right now. So, just to kind of, I guess, now that we have caveated what this discussion is, set the conversation up, there are a massive amount of really solid PlayStation 4 exclusives. Just from like the beginning of the year to now, we've gotten a new entry in the Tales series. So Tales of Berseria, which if you don't like JRPGs, is not necessarily for you. Yakuza 0, which again may not be for you.
You talking
Neo,
about me specifically, or just people in
just
general?
people.
All right.
Neo, which is a Dark Souls clone-esque, Ninja Gaiden clone-esque type game, and Horizon Zero Dawn. In that window, in that same window, we have not gotten any big Microsoft exclusives. So just based on the first 2 months alone, we've gotten quite a few. So I was interested to see what the actual full list was going to look like. And this is not to say that one console is better than another. This is not about that. Both of us have we'll have the Switch this Friday.
However,
both of us will have all three.
Right. But there is a large disparity, huge difference, huge gap in between. So that needs to be kind of I guess that's part of the topic here.
For sure. Oh, I guess I take that back. Xbox has gotten Halo Wars too.
Okay.
So I think that's worth mentioning. Halo Wars is big. It's definitely one of their biggest franchises. Halo is.
Oh,
maybe not Halo
is.
Wars, but Halo.
Yeah.
Halo is. So, pulled up the list of exclusives. I'm just going to give you the overall numbers that we know. And again, like I said, Microsoft is holding their cards on a lot of this stuff. So the number of games that I list off, it could be double or even triple that by the end of the year. But that also could be said for Sony and
for both the other.
We may not. We don't 100% know. So for Xbox, there are 16 games. 16 games from January 2017 to December 31st, 2017 that have released or are planned to release within this calendar year. 16 games. Nintendo Switch has 31 games. So double what Xbox has.
And PlayStation has how many?
PlayStation 4 has 91.
Which is fucking ridiculous.
What is that? 7 times more? Yeah. Now, granted, we talked about this with Hotline Miami. Quality over quantity.
Sure.
But if you go out and pick out what looks like what would be quality titles for Xbox One and compare it to what would appear to be the quality titles for PlayStation 4, even the quality titles, and again, there's a certain level of subjectivity involved in this.
Well, sure, but at the same time, it is public knowledge that Xbox has been canceling a lot of their exclusives.
Absolutely.
Which is, not quite tremendous. Maybe Scalebound, was it Scalebound, right? I think maybe that would have sucked. Yeah, that's why they canceled it. Who knows? But that was another, before they canceled it, promising exclusive.
Yeah, for sure.
That they no longer have. Which might not seem like a huge deal, but considering the fucking 7 times the amount, and at least 2 times from a console that hasn't even released yet. Yeah, that's if you rely on exclusives at all to sell your console, then that's not good.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah, I agree. So, I guess, and that's what kind of ties into our opinion of this whole thing is, I think if you are
like, what is the overall question we're asking? What has best exclusives, or
it's not necessarily a question, because the question is who has more exclusives. So it's not really a question. That's a question that we have answered. Yep. The question is it time to have a PlayStation 4, or it's more of a call to everyone out there that does not have a PlayStation 4, that I would say primarily all of you guys who have Xbox Ones, and specifically just have Xbox Ones. And obviously there's there are things out there like, financially speaking, I can't afford this or this or this or this. And I like totally get that. There are reasons beyond wanting to own one. I'm sure if everybody could afford it, they would all have all of them. Makes perfect sense if they're interested in them. But I think it's a good time for everybody to take a look at the PlayStation 4 and kind of review their catalog of what they have released thus far, and see what they have coming, and see if there's anything out there that you're interested in.
So what we're doing mostly is plugging PlayStation.
I guess, yeah. I mean, do you have any thoughts or opinions outside of that? At least that's what I'm doing.
So there is like a fourth party, which is PC, which does have the most exclusives.
Absolutely.
That's not like jerking off whatever. Because like,
there's a fifth party that has even more than that. Mobile.
Yeah, man, no. But like once again, like that goes to quality over quantity.
For sure.
Now, for everyone who does like own a PC or whatever, right? Just as the outside of mobile, we the most. What would you ever need anything else? Well, that's kind of the question. Like, is it worth it to get a PS4? Is it worth it to get an Xbox? Mm-hmm. Is it time, like you said? First off, before we continue, like I hate exclusives.
Yeah, I talked about that a little bit at the beginning.
In any way, unless it's based solely on hardware, which like the reason why there's so many PC exclusives is because like people don't want to go through certification and all that, right? They can't buy dev kits, so that's the only reason why PC has so many exclusives to begin with. But it really just depends on like what your gaming interests are. Like, do you like Souls games? That's a fucking big one. If yes, you don't own a PS4, then yeah, you fucked up. Because you're missing on Bloodborne and Neo.
Yep.
And
potentially Bloodborne 2, which is rumored to be this year. Yeah.
Fucking, we'll see about that shit.
It was rumored to be at E3 last year too.
And when you talk about like Xbox, it's like, okay, well, do you like Halo?
Yeah.
That's kind of
like Gears of War.
That's kind of about it, though.
You like Crackdown?
No, I know that I only mentioned Dark Souls as far as like the PS4 one.
But like JRPGs, if you're a JRPG person, you should definitely consider looking at PlayStation.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know what to say about this, because it's the same way with all of them. It's like, okay, well, we'll switch. Do you like Mario games?
Do you like Nintendo games in general? How do you feel about Metroid and Zelda and F-Zero?
What is weird, and I will say this, like, it's just the lack of Xbox exclusives, though. That is strange.
Do you feel like they're waiting for E3? Just open the floodgates?
I think they're going to try to catch up, but once again, I think both the other competitors are also waiting for the same thing. Like, every single year, each one talks about, especially if you look at the list of exclusives, a lot of them are indie titles.
Yeah.
And what has a huge presence at every single fucking E3 event, as far as Xbox and PlayStation, every time almost. Indie games.
I mean,
here are the ones that are coming. It
depends. Like, how many indie games were shown at the last PlayStation press conference? I couldn't tell you one.
Well, if I remember right, they did have a montage of quite a few. If I remember right, I
don't even remember.
I might be fucking.
They normally do montages. I don't disagree with that. They normally do montages. It's like, here's a bunch of indie games. But last year it was like Death Stranding, Spider-Man, Resident Evil 7, God of War.
Well, I don't know.
A lot of big heavy hitters.
I'm tired and petering out at this point.
Okay.
And like I said, I don't. It's not really so much of a conversation as it is just like, here are the fucking numbers.
Yeah.
And it's unusually strange for Xbox to have this few exclusives.
For sure.
Yeah.
Pepe says, I think Journey and Last of Us stand out above and beyond. Yeah, for sure. I think those are real big.
Plus, you have Last of Us 2 coming.
Yeah. Beyond Two Souls. I mean, I'm sorry, not Beyond Two Souls. Detroit Become Human.
Still waiting for Cuphead on Xbox. Let's say that.
Yeah.
But you know what is kind of a bummer though? Seeing 96 titles that are only available on one console. That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
But, like, good selling point. Once again, it goes back to exclusives. Same way pre-orders. Do you want to get all the games? You got to buy this many of this product.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I don't know. I guess it depends on how much you like brand loyalty. Which,
yeah, and that's always kind of an interesting question. Is because brand loyalty does exist. There are a lot of people out there that are very loyal to a particular brand, and I mean, I guess all of us have that to a certain extent in our life. You know, we all like a certain type of shoe.
Yeah.
We all like a certain type of polo. We all like a certain brand of glasses. No.
American Express. Yeah. Them's the best.
This is just more of like the American Express bought a bunch of these glasses and put the logo on it. So brand loyalty makes sense, but I guess it's just kind of an odd thing to see in terms of video games.
I don't know. I think this topic's kind of dead in the water a little bit. Because it's weird, because like when you first told me about it earlier, you were like, this might be kind of a divisive topic. Spur some conversation.
Not between you and I, because
I know.
of the PlayStation guys.
But there is
none.
But it's... So it's like, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I know, like, Paints and Idify, and a lot of these guys...
We lost Idify. I'm sure he was like, I've heard enough trash in this box. About this bitch.
I'm out of here. I don't need to do this.
Listen,
that's kind of the point is like, they're not here having this conversation in person with us. And it's not super fun to feel like people are trashing on your console. And we're not. We're just saying, like,
dude,
PlayStation
I don't want to hear
doing well.
Trashing on console, whatever. Like, as a PC player, like, I don't even want to talk about being a PC player. Because I'm labeled as a fucking douchebag, even bringing it up.
But you at least have everything
He's one
else.
of those guys.
You at least
PC
have
guys.
everything else. You just prefer to play on PlayStation.
Mine.
You know?
When it comes to consoles, yeah. I mean, this topic did not really work out the way we... I think wanted to. Facts speak for themselves as far as, like, okay.
Yeah, that's kind of the big piece is, like, just based on what we were seeing. Because I wanted to talk about this before I saw the numbers, because of what the first few months have been like.
Yeah.
I was like, well, damn, man, like, we're getting all these great games.
Kind of like blow it out of the water. It destroys it. So
yeah.
Shit. There's not really a lot you can do to argue with it. At least not yet. E3 might change that. Because even if like Xbox only comes out with, let's say, 10 new exclusives, and Sony comes out with 50.
Yeah.
If those 10 are fucking tremendous, like the Resurrecting Dead franchises people like, really, kind of like how Bloodborne's a brand new fucking, but super, anticipated one. If they just come out with 10 of those, like, that will... I mean, the list will still be longer. Sure, numbers will still be not comparable, but... Like you said, quantity over quality. So we'll see at E3, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And oh man.
But as it stands...
E3. We're close, baby. We're not super close, but we're getting closer every day.
Like 3 months?
Yeah.
It's basically March, yeah.
March,
so
April, May.
3
June,
months.
4 months. Can't wait. All right, final topic. Game reviews.
All right.
What do you think about game reviews?
What do you think about game reviews? You're the one who came up with this topic.
So does that mean you don't have an opinion on it?
I don't know what form my opinion should take, specifically.
You're like, shit, I need to find out if I'm going to be arguing with Major Tom.
Well, no, like, I need to know what specific question, like, what you're getting at.
It's a couple of different things.
Okay.
Back in the day, we talked about, when we did game reviews, when Chain Talk was just a podcast, and we talked about, hey, let's do game reviews. And one of our guys brought up...
Something we still want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. One of our guys brought up...
At some point.
Is it fair for a game review itself, or the people who consume the game review, if the person is a fan of those games or not? So, as an example, if the next Metal Gear comes out.
No, I get your example. Let me give you one that we used back then that was good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So up until recently being Bloodborne, you had no interest whatsoever in playing any Dark Souls games.
Yep.
Still don't with Dark Souls specifically.
Yeah.
Would it be fair to say, okay, well, you don't have any interest in this style of game? You're already going into it thinking, I heard it's difficult. Just difficult for the fuck
of
it.
Like the
for
vibes.
the sake of it, fuck this. I really don't want to. I don't know, but okay, I guess I'll review it. Is that fair to hand it over to somebody who probably is going into it not wanting to like it because it's not their style of game they wish to play?
And then the inverse of that, is it fair to give it to someone who probably already has some sort of like feeling towards it in a positive way? Like both sides of it. So I have an expectation that Super Mario Odyssey is going to be incredible. And my guess is it will live up to that expectation. My guess is that if I was reviewing that game, it's going, and we were on a 10-point scale, it would go above a 9.
Knowing you, personally, I would say that, I don't know about that, because you didn't like Super Mario Galaxy 1 or 2.
Yeah, but a lot of that had to do with motion controls.
Right, but...
And that was like a knock against it going into it. I wasn't excited about Super Mario Galaxy before it came out, because of motion controls.
Okay, sure. So that is a good example of you were already like deterred from playing it, but because for reviewers it's your job, fucking review it, and for you it's a Mario game, you have to play it, just to see. All right, fair enough. Continue.
So basically the bias could go either way, like.
Well, yeah.
It's so having me review the next Dark Souls or having me review the next Super Mario Odyssey, they're both kind of, there's going to be bias either way. Bias because I normally don't like Dark Souls, and bias because I love Mario games. So basically, like, there is no, at least from my perspective, there is no fair way to do it. And it kind of leads to the subjectivity versus the objectivity of how video game reviews are done.
Okay. Well, I guess if I was to receive that question, I'd just give it like, okay. Here's my answer for this. Everybody goes to a different game reviewer, do they not?
Or site or whatever.
Yeah. They have a source in which they trust.
Absolutely.
So you're not paying ad revenue by watching advertisements or visiting their websites, giving them views, page views, any of it. You're not doing that to get whether the game's good or not.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting it to say, okay, well, I want this person's opinion on it.
Yeah.
90% of the time. I mean, there are aggregators like Metacritic or Reddit review threads, that sort of thing. We can kind of just look through. But I mean, really, it kind of is more up to, I would say it's more up to the consumer of these reviews to know who they're getting the review from, if they trust them, what sort of games they play, or otherwise, just look on Metacritic and just see the aggregate score, which is like, okay, out of everybody, here's what it is. And then if you want to do a little bit of extra, go to your due diligence, read a little bit of the critiques of it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's kind of up to you. Like, the person reviewing it can only kind of give their opinion on it regardless. Now, whether you want to, how much you want to buy into that opinion and say, okay, well, I trust it. Well, that's up to the person watching it.
So, this kind of leads to something that I, at points, take issue with. It's when people say I don't like IGN's reviews. I don't like GameSpot's reviews. I don't like Game Trailers reviews. I don't like when they have like 15-ish people on staff that do different reviews for different games. So to like outright say, I don't like IGN's reviews, when IGN is not someone who reviews games. It's the people that are staffed there that provide reviews on their games.
Right, but you're getting into a granular territory where it's like, okay,
for sure,
you, unlike most people, know the names of each reviewer. Like, you're like, oh, this is a review by Mr. Mycuck.
Yeah.
Or this one's written by Huber for fucking Easy Allies. Yeah. Most people don't do that.
Absolutely.
They watch them. So how that often happens is this: like, okay, you watch 5 game reviews. Like in a year, in let's say a 3-month span, you watch 5.
Yep.
For games you like. You shop around, you look at different reviews, and you see like, okay, well I played this game, but I'm interested in the review for it. Don't know if they experience the same problems that I had with it. And consecutively, you find out like they mention the problem that you had, like they acknowledge it, but they're like, "Well, we found it to be charming." It's like, well, no, fuck you. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, of course it's going to provide bias to one particular. If it's IGN every time, that it's like, okay, yeah, they're not that critical about the games they're reviewing. Like, so I can't really trust them as far as if I'm basing this on my purchase, on my money. I do need a critical eye to look at it. Or one that I think is more in line with mine. So, like, yeah, I do think, like, I get, like, it takes a village, that sort of fucking, scenario. But, the only way in which that wouldn't apply is, be applicable to this situation is if you look at, like, years of, like, I've never liked IGN. Mm-hmm. Well, there's been staff changes since. Like,
a lot
even with game trailers, like, before they shut down, they're like, okay, well, the staff back then gave this game a 10.
Yeah.
The current staff rates it a 7.
Yeah.
That sort of thing happens. So over a long period of time.
And I've seen lots of, like, arguments where somebody from the old staff and all a bunch of people from the new staff are, like, having an argument with this person. Like, I can't believe you gave Wind Waker a 7.8. Wind Waker is not a 7.8.
Yeah, it's
like it's a 9, it's a 10, it's a whatever. So, like, people on the staff are arguing with the person who gave it that score as to why they gave it that score. But that comes from just, I guess, my interest or investment that I have in the actual, like, website or group of people who do it. And so I guess the point that I like that you're making here is that, like, no, it's not necessarily fair to say people that are like, I just don't like IGN. No, it's not fair to say that they don't like IGN for their reviews, but it is fair considering that their level of investment that they have in it.
Yeah.
Because the level of investment that they have is that they read 5 reviews over the course of a year, and they didn't agree with any of those reviews. And it doesn't matter who those 5 people that wrote. It could be 5 completely different people that have completely different feelings on games that review them.
An example would be this. Like, I don't like Polygon.
Yeah.
Reviews or anything really, for the most part, because I'd be reading a review about The Witcher, and suddenly it would bring up kind of like sociopolitical issues of like fucking gender equality in Witcher reviews, and it's like,
so you lowered your patronage from $15 to $2 to Polygon.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, look, I want to know if the game's good, not about the social impact it's gonna have.
For sure.
Like, that's not what I'm paying for. So, like, for a lot of people, maybe that's what they want to know. For me, that's not for me. Maybe since then, it's changed completely, and that's not like the person who normally pins their reviews. It's a different person. Yeah. But as far as I know, it's like, well, no, I'll go to fucking Easy Allies, or I'll go to IGN, or, my other preferred source. Like, I gave this one a shot. Didn't really fucking tell me what I was looking for. So, yeah, like, I'm not going to come back. It's the same way in which, remember how, like, a long time ago, remember the reason why we did so many trial episodes of the podcast before we never even released one? It's because we said we want to have it as good as it can be before we ever release it. Because people are only going to stop by and go one time, change swipe, okay, yeah. Oh, this sucks. Yeah. And they're never going to fucking come back.
For sure.
So that first impression is important. I understood that then, and I understand.
It is, but I think that something, at least that I feel like I've learned, I feel like we as a collective have learned, is to be like, we're not going to be for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
there are people who are not going to like your opinion on things. And just like there are people who are not going to like my opinion on things. And that's just the way it is. But that's why I think we as a collective work, is because whereas you can be certain extremes in one way, I can be certain extremes in another way. And we can...
Extremely fucking lame, you know what I'm saying, baby?
Don't you touch me.
No, I see what you're saying. But yeah, no... Once again, I think it does come down to the consumer to find a reviewer which is kind of more in line with what they like.
Absolutely.
More their personality.
Heather says, I think it's the responsibility of the reviewer to reveal their bias during... I enjoyed Mario 64, but I didn't enjoy Mario Sunshine. Here's what I think of Odyssey. I don't disagree with that. I don't necessarily think that it should be required. I don't know if you're saying that it should be required. It's the responsibility of. So I think it'd be cool if there is a way that you can, and as far as I know, actually something like IGN has this, where you can click the name of the person who reviewed it, and it takes you to their page, and it's like a bio page. It like tells you what their favorite games are, tells you a little bit about them.
But you also have to understand, like, when you see the IGN review, despite the fact that 20 people might be on staff, that review and its score was determined by one person.
Yeah.
So, like, for all intents and purposes, that is IGN as a company, their review. They trusted this person to give the most accurate and unbiased review, if they want that way, that they can. So it's once again, it's like, well, you have to know who's reviewing your shit, and also it is just like any other, the whole journalistic integrity thing. Of you have to make sure the person reviewing it is the right person for it, or you should. You don't have to, I guess.
One of the things I think that's fascinating about Easy Allies reviews is they use I in their reviews a lot, but whenever they write them or whenever they read them, they change the I to we. We really like this, and we really like this. Even though the we may only be an I, they do it because of what you said, like, it is represented as one entity.
Well, but that's also different with Easy Allies, because they aren't masquerading as a fucking brand anymore. It's literally a collective of people. Like, and each one has their own thing. It's very much kind of like us. Like, Chainswipe isn't necessarily more of a brand as it is like a small group of people.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if I'm fucking getting this right or not. I feel like I'm petering a little bit.
You're good. I'm super interested in what you're saying here. I might be the only one.
Well, good.
I've just seen the number of people watching, just like.
And we are at 2.5 hours. So, yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, what do I think of reviews? Like, they're absolutely necessary. When it comes to the trustworthiness of your reviews, like Famitsu today, as a matter of fact, people have been freaking out about Famitsu is hinting that they're going to be giving Breath of the Wild their perfect review score, which is so sought after. But it's like, but if you actually look at it, it's like, well, they've always favored Japanese titles, and they've been like bought easily many times for reviews. They shit on Western games. No, listen, like the way that somebody who
I can't speak either way because
Mike there.
Because I'm not educated on it per se, but like just the idea of people being bought. I've heard that shit so many times about other reviewers that I know isn't accurate, but I can't speak for Famitsu.
Right. Here's the thing, though. So with every fucking spread of a Japanese game, be that Neo, be it Metal Gear, be it fucking Dark Souls, be it Nintendo games, they are like the basically what is the equivalent of what is it? The GameStop one. Game Informer. Like, they do reviews, but, like, when you see those giant 3-page spreads of information and new screenshots and shit, that always goes to Famitsu if it's a Japanese company. They are the premier, like, Japanese reviewer.
Yeah.
So they have always given implicit bias to Japanese games. And there's been people that have either known staff or been with staff that have said, like, yeah, that those giant 3-page spreads that sell everything, that definitely fucking comes into play. So yeah, like, love it or hate it, like, that's the sort of thing where it's like, okay, well, Famitsu's giving it a 10 out of 10, like, okay. Yeah, it's a fucking Japanese game, though, so I'm gonna take that with a grain of salt to an extent.
For sure.
When they give a Western game a 10 out of 10, which is almost never, I can't even think of the last one. There has been one that I remember, but I don't remember the name of it. Like, it is a fucking event. Like, okay, yeah, despite their implicit bias towards, like, Japanese titles and, like, they don't like Western ones that much, like, they scored this one perfect. That's kind of a fucking big deal. Like, it's just a rarity.
Yeah.
Right? So that kind of speaks to the merit of the game a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, you really have to be, unless you just want to fucking check Metacritic and say, alright, is 70% good enough for me? Probably. Do I want to play this game enough for 70%? Probably. Okay, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
If you really want to be smart about your purchase and you want to know and all that horse shit, then yeah, you do have to be knowledgeable about where your reviews are coming from and who's writing them.
Yeah. Well, what I think is cool is that it's kind of unique to everyone. And sorry, we'll close it out soon, guys. I think it's kind of unique to everyone. I think that everyone has kind of their own approach for how they purchase games, consume games, read reviews on games, and all of that kind of stuff. So I think I'm completely cool with whatever format by which people decide to decide if they want to purchase something. And my hope is that we can help facilitate some game sales as well. I like the idea of,
or dissuade if there's a game that sucks.
Absolutely.
I don't want people spending money.
I real want to sell some copies of Resident Evil 7 though. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's a fantastic.
Like, it's a masterpiece. Resident Evil 7 is a masterpiece.
Yeah, I would say that.
I absolutely would say that. We were already talking about if it it's not going to get our game of the year, but like if we start thinking about
right
the games
now,
that
it's
are going to
number
make
one
it.
slot.
Yeah,
but
absolutely. And I'm loving Horizon, but I don't know if it's going to be there yet.
Yeah.
We'll see. Time will tell. Zelda, of course, is on the horizon as well. What was I talking about? Oh, just the ability for people to make the choice that works for them. So if you like consuming IGN, or you like watching PewDiePie, or you like watching whatever, like, more power to you. And if that helps you make the decision that works best for you, more power to you. A lot of times games reviews don't really sway me one way or another. We watched the IGN review for the Nintendo Switch, or the review in progress, and they said if we were to score it right now, we'd give it a 6.7. And the majority of that review, now I may have just been only hearing the bad. There may have been a lot of good in there too, but I mean, he just said like, the screen looks good. The majority of the review felt negative regarding the Nintendo Switch. I didn't hold that against him. I thought he made a lot of really great valid points as to why he would give it a 6.7. But a lot of people are like pissed at IGN right now for Vince Ingenito giving the Nintendo Switch a possible 6.7. I'm like,
well, then go get the review somewhere else.
Yeah, go look at your review somewhere else. But just so you know, everybody else says you should probably hold off unless you're dedicated. And people like me and you, we're going to get it from regardless.
The wait and see has been we'll wait and see if it pays off for him. Yeah. Has been the general consensus for the entire console.
Yeah.
All right. It's a fun conversation between me and you. Don't know if anyone else gave a shit.
That's okay. I mean, realistically, when it comes down to the heart of what we're doing here, this is for you and I anyway. You know what I'm saying? We want to, not to say that what everybody feels and thinks, did that morning logo for you in Discord. Ooh, girl. I'm hot and bothered right now.
They've been coming since Monday.
But like, we've been wanting to do this, not necessarily like Twitch, but like you and I like talking about video games so much, and Chainsaw Ape has given us an excuse to talk about video games constantly. So, even if people aren't having 100% fun, like, I'm sorry, but it's gonna happen. We're gonna get into conversations that people disagree with me or disagree with DKP,
or just whatever. Like, enough, fuck.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
We're gonna. I still had a blast. It was good coming back to it.
I think it also has to do why we're 2.5 hours long.
It's been
2 weeks.
2.5 hours being stuck in this chair. It's definitely not the easiest.
Nope.
All right, that's it.
All right, boys. Well, that is it for us tonight. I'll be back on tomorrow night and Friday with something I'm not sure what. Apart from that, that's it. I'm DKP.
I'm Major Tom.
And we will see you guys here soon. Hopefully that exactly doesn't mean fuck you guys, you went on too long. If so, fuck you. Man. Got him.
You did get him.
Got him good. Got him real good. All right. Later, fellas.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.